your hosts, Jordan Anderson and Austin Pez Howell.
Hey, what's up? So, as a fun little intro tribute, just like we got every week, and we got the little thumbnail in the background. I'm trying to decide which one to go with, but we'll stick with that for now. But anyways, welcome to Live from Movie Hero. So this is our Saturday Night Live show where we recap classic episodes of Saturday Night Live. So currently we're going through season 12. So we're on episode 6 and 7. And we'll get into what episodes those are and who hosted them and everything in just a minute. But how you doing, Austin?
Oh man, I am tired and loopy and sleepy because it's almost 11 o'clock here at night, and I've been up since 3 in the morning. So if I get a little silly on our SNL show, it's because of that and the fact the only thing keeping me awake is my Mountain Dew with vodka. So cheers to you, Jordan.
Hey, can't go wrong there. Right?
Exactly. But I'm ready to go, man. Always ready to talk about some SNL, man. So let's do this.
Nice, yeah. I also had kind of a weird day there because my job kind of sends me all over the place. So I live in Spokane, Washington, and it's essentially this like big valley, kind of like a big open valley that's like spread out pretty far to different parts. And so it's like there'll be one day where I'm on one side of the valley, another day where I'm close to home, another day I'm on a completely different. And some days they have me going back and forth, and that was kind of how the day was. I was like back and forth all over the place. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but.
Oh yeah,
what's a fun job though? I get to see a lot of different places. Like it's definitely an adventure.
Well, there you go, man.
Yeah, but yeah, we can just get into these episodes though. So we're gonna start with episode 6 from season 12. So that's they had a trio of hosts, which kind of makes sense because it was Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. So you got the Three Amigos there.
The Three Amigos, man, and promoting their movie, which came out around the same time. I believe it came around Thanksgiving at this time, something around there. And right. Can I make a confession? I've never actually watched Three Amigos all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I've got across from the room from me, I've got my 2000 Blu-rays and DVDs. And yet the DVD is sitting over there. I've just never actually cracked it open and watched it. So, wow. I own it, but I've never actually watched it. But I probably should have for this episode. But, it is what it is. But, it's kind of a sort of a Christmassy episode, too. There's a couple little Christmas bits throughout the show we'll kind of talk about.
Yeah, right, because we're getting into December with when these actually aired. Because this episode aired December 6th, 1986. So kind of getting a little close to Christmas. We're in the Christmas season. But, yeah. I would probably say Three Amigos, though. It's definitely my favorite Martin Short movie. I almost want to say a favorite Steve Martin, too, but at the same time, Steve Martin has so many great movies.
Yeah, I go with The Jerk, but, that's just the first one I think of. And but he's had a really interesting career. I mean, all three of those guys were definitely kind of in their prime, especially here in the 80s, just really rocking. Martin Short obviously was still coming off of SNL, but just being a cast member a few years back, a few previous seasons. Chevy Chase obviously got his start on SNL. Steve Martin became very famous when he hosted SNL many, many, many times. And all these guys are in the middle of their movie careers here in the 80s. And Chevy Chase had a little bit of a rough year. We'll kind of talk about it in the when we get to the monologue. They have some references to it. So but we'll get into that when we get there, man. So we'll get this thing rocking with the cold open.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to say real quick that Martin Short actually used to be a cast member. He was a cast member for just 1 year. He was able to sign a 1-year contract, I guess. Nowadays, I don't know if they really do just 1-year contracts, but they did back
then. They don't do like 1-year contracts, but I've seen cast members that only lasted one season. We see them in one season and they get cut or they leave the show themselves. We've had a few of those here and there. I was watching a clip the other day of it was an old one of Jason Sudeikis playing John Tesh doing the NBC or NBA and NBC theme.
Oh
with,
yeah.
Another cast member named like Tim Robinson, who was only on there for like a year, which I didn't even remember. Playing his brother. So there's people like that pop up when you go see these clips, and you go, oh yeah, they were on there for like a year, and then they kind of disappeared. Whether by their own leaving the show or getting cut after a year. So it's kind of unfortunate sometimes, and sometimes they just pop up and it's an interesting name and they move on to better things. It just happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's always some of those really like odd random people like there's a guy Brooks Wheelan, I guess. So I watched a podcast that they had him on. We were talking about how he got fired. Like he was only on there for one season in like the like I don't know, like 2012 at the 2013 era, like about that time frame, and then he got fired. I don't even think he made it through the whole season. And like he was pretty upset by it. Like he was pretty bitter, like about the whole thing. So it's pretty interesting.
I remember going to just a related side note, going to see John Lovitz at a comedy club back in Jacksonville, Florida, and his opener was Jeff Richards, who was a featured player for like a season or two, and he's probably most famous for doing. He used to do a character on Weekend Update called Drunk Girl, not Drunk Uncle, but Drunk Girl. Where he would kind of do this drunk thing, yeah, meow, just this weird drunk girl stuff. It was like it was one thing that kind of broke him out. Yeah. I mean, if you saw it, you definitely recognize it. But he was only on the show for like a year or two. But he would like came out of nowhere as like the featured before Lovitz doing stand up, and I was like, oh hey, I remember him from SNL. Like just weird, these weird things that pop up. Yeah, these like featured players that last a season or two. It's
right. Yeah. It's always kind of interesting, but yeah, this cold open though. So the cold open was the Stumble Bums at the Gerald Ford Clinic, and so and I think that it was that it's a reference to one of the sketches from the first season where Chevy Chase did something called Operation Stumble Bum, and so he had a character where he just did all these pratfalls and he would just run into everything and stuff. Into the
and he references that later in the monologue. Yeah, he would always just kind of do these bits where he was just falling all over the place and doing pratfalls. And the Gerald Ford Clinic he used to play Gerald Ford, on the show in that first season. Yeah, and so it's kind of reference to that. Instead of the Betty Ford Clinic, it's the Gerald Ford Clinic. Right. Stumble Bum. So everybody in the sketch, and it basically starts out with Kevin Nealon just kind of sitting in this little it looks like an AA meeting type of a thing, just like a little circle. And, Steve Martin comes in there and kind of lightly bumbles around and sits down. And then Mark Short makes a pretty grand entrance. He like swings the door open, sticks his foot in a bucket and falls right into the window. Yeah, it was kind of an abrupt, pretty funny little entrance. And then he takes his seat. And of course, it's all kind of building up to Chevy Chase kind of comes in very slowly. He kind of takes a pause for a second, says hello, and then proceeds to stumble all around the room, pretty much knocking everything in sight over or falling over just about everything in his way. So yeah, it was kind of Chevy just doing his kind of physical comedy bits all sort of wrapped into one.
Yeah, and then we find out that Chevy Chase is actually the person that's running the meeting.
Yeah, no, he's like the head. Yeah, he's like the head of the meeting, and obviously that makes sense. And literally, he pretty much destroys the room just walking around the perimeter trying to get back to his chair. And then, of course, his chair completely falls apart as soon as he sits in it. And they go to the live from New York. But it was very short. I was surprised at how kind of abrupt it was when I first watched it. It's only about 60 seconds long or so, and we kind of jump right into the show. So it was kind of just a quick way to say, okay, these three guys are here. We're hosting. Here we go.
Yeah, right. And I did want to say that this episode, though, like it's probably my favorite episode so far this season. Like I just thought that.
Oh wow! Okay.
That it was great just from like start to finish. Like I just loved almost everything. So, but
we might have some slight disagreements because I think this episode was a typical peak and valley kind of SNL. I mean, we'll talk about it. And, hey, if we disagree, we'll talk about it if we disagree. Yeah. It'd be interesting. So we'll see about that as we go through it.
And for me, like I just kind of think that I can see the progression of the writing, kind of just like like slowly starting to get better and better as the season goes on. I think they're like starting to find their niche with this cast that they have. So I mean, but But there were some things that I didn't love, but there was a lot that I did love. So we'll kind of get into
I thought there was some very strong writing on this show, like particularly in a couple of sketches we'll talk about. I also thought there was a couple of bits of very, very weak writing. So I mean,
right.
We'll talk about it, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But if we disagree, it's cool. We're just talking, because it's one of those things where, again, comedy is completely subjective. What makes me laugh may not make you laugh, and vice versa. So we'll see what happens as we kind of get through. But we basically get the cold open, and we get all three guys coming out for a trio. And again, this is the first time we've ever had a trio hosting. We've had duos that have hosted before, but never a trio. So this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, so we had all three of them come out, and I thought it was kind of funny. It kind of starts out where Martin Short's like, first off, I think maybe we should start off by saying our names. So he's like, I'm Martin Short, and then the other two are just kind of like they don't even say their name. They're kind of like we're so famous that we need to say our names. Kind of thing.
One of the stories of this monologue was Martin Short just trying to be as famous as Steve Martin and Chevy Chase, trying to put him the joke is that he's trying to put himself on the same level, and the joke is that he's in his own mind he's not, so he's trying to catch up to the other two, constantly throughout the monologue or whatever. It's kind of just a running gag, and it's a running gag that they kept on even through later years. I saw later stuff near 2010 or something where they would do these Five Timers Club sketches where Chevy and Steve would be in the Five Timers Lounge with Justin Timberlake or whoever, and then Martin Short would just be the waiter. Playing he's just not on the same level. So they kept this gag kind of running for a really, really long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of the Five Timers Club, so I'm not really sure how many times Steve Martin's actually hosted Saturday Night Live, but he's done it enough where they actually have a Best of Steve Martin special, and then a lot of people actually thought he was actually a member of the cast, but he wasn't ever an actual member.
No, I think the number is something like 17 or 18. Yeah, it's pretty high up there, and he's right up there with Alec Baldwin has 15 or 16. I think John Goodman has about 12 or 13. It's something like that. Yeah, Alec Baldwin has a best of DVD as well because he's hosted so many times. Yeah, I have the best of Steve Martin DVD over with my other ones over there. Tom Hanks has the DVD because he hosted 10 or 12 times. I mean, it's a lot of things. People don't realize Steve Martin wasn't an official cast member, but he hosted so many times, even since the early days of the show, that people just assumed he was one of the founding members, but he really wasn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but for me, I actually love the opening monologue. So it just goes on with Martin Short and Chevy Chase having a little bit to say, but then really kind of Steve Martin kind of takes over by the end of it. But
I do have to mention the one thing we talked about earlier before we get into Steve Martin taking over with his song. There's a quick gag about Chevy's going, man, my back kind of hurts from doing those pratfalls in that earlier sketch, and the whole thing was that year he had self-admitted to the Betty Ford Clinic for what he called a mild pain pill addiction because of he said he was having back pain. I think he had a surgery or something like that, and so he had been addicted to pain pills for a little while. So he starts mentioning, oh yeah, my back hurts, and Martin and Steve just go, oh, maybe you should have some pills, and Martin just pulls out a thing of pills and he starts throwing them at his mouth, throwing them at his face, and then they go well, maybe you should have a drink, and he pulls out a flask and he's trying to get him to pour whiskey in his mouth, and so I thought it was at least interesting that Chevy was okay with sort of making fun of it, or at least making a quick light of it, you know what I mean, and addressing the situation. So, but I thought it was Martin was especially really funny, just throwing stuff at him and trying to get him to take drinks. It was pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they had Martin Short with the one throwing it at him. Then you have Steve Martin holding him down, kind of.
Oh yeah, he's holding his arms behind his back.
Yeah,
it was good stuff. It was good stuff.
When Chevy Chase mentioned that he was in some kind of rehab, I wasn't sure if that was actually true. Or if that was just,
it was actually true. No, I did some research, and it was true. There was interviews with him at the time. I looked up a few. There's a few news articles back from '86 you can actually still read on the internet about him self-admitting to the Betty Ford Clinic. So it was kind of a big entertainment story at the time. Yeah. Now that I went back and looked at it, but I didn't know that off the top of my head either. But it was a topical thing.
Yeah, because Chevy Chase was just one of those actors that I absolutely loved, in all the vacation movies, and then he was in Fletch. He was in
Caddyshack.
of all his like really big ones. He's in Spies Like Us, like some of those movies
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But then like I felt like there's a certain point where he kind of took a downfall. I don't know if it was like late 90s, early 2000s, something
It
like
was
that.
kind of early mid '90s because he had done like Fletch Lives, which wasn't as well received as Fletch. And then he had movies like Funny Farm, which wasn't as good.
Yeah.
You know, he had just kind of a lot of like really forgettable movies, and then he did like, you know, Vegas Vacation and, you know, things
Yeah.
like that. So, you know, he was kind of just going back to the well every now and then with vacation stuff and just sort of floundering for a little while. And I think he really didn't get sort of a resurgence until a lot later when he came on Community, really, is I
Right.
think the last time where he kind of got big again.
And for me too, like I always thought that, like, so like I'm a huge Community fan. I've seen every single episode in it,
Mhm.
and like I absolutely, I love all the cast. But I always felt like Chevy Chase felt like really out of place on that show, and like really odd. Like he
Yeah.
never really fit in. Wasn't really that funny to me. Like he just played this grumpy old man that just wanted to just like
Well,
try
and apparently the cast have been on record as saying he's kind of an a-hole, you know, in real life, off screen, you know, with the show. So yeah, it was kind of strange that it is like you had all these sort of younger cast members, and then you had Joel McHale as like the head guy, and then yeah, you got like 70-year-old Chevy Chase running around, you know, just being a curmudgeon. Just very strange. You know, he's amongst Donald Glover and Gillian Jacobs and all of these, you know, younger, you know, hot comedians.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chevy Chase thrown in there, but you know, well, it is what it is. Sure.
Right. Yeah. But getting back into the opening monologue, so like basically it's like Steve Martin, he said, we start saying, oh, it's been a couple of years since I've been on the stage, back when I had the old confidence, when the confidence was there. But then he walks off stage and like tells the other guys that like I just take care of the show. Like he's having like a little minor panic attack kind of thing, and he's like, I don't know if I'm good enough. And he says, well, just that you guys have all this talent. I don't have any talent, and I never did. And they're gonna see right through me, and they're gonna know that I'm a sham, like all this stuff. But
right.
Like you can kind of tell that he's just playing it up for the bit kind of thing. But
oh no,
yeah.
and of course he's being kind of sarcastic, he's being coy, and then of course he breaks into almost like a big Broadway number. It's called like I'm Me, where he's just like I'm me. I'm me. It's all about him, of course, you know, because that's kind of what it is. It's sort of, it becomes a Steve Martin over the top monologue while Martin Short and Chevy Chase are just still standing on the stage, sort of watching all the shenanigans happening in front of him. He kind of dances around backstage, and all the cast members get behind him, and they're going, you're you, Steve, you're you.
Yeah,
and
right.
Me, you're you. And he, you know, he's climbing all over the place, and he eventually climbs up a ladder. He goes into the nosebleed seats up in the rafters. And in the crowd, and he's going, I'm me. And of course, I thought one of the best gags is he runs into an impersonator, like a lookalike, who's got the arrow in his head, wearing like the suit, and it's like a Steve Martin lookalike, and the lookalike's kind of going like, hey, doing his little Steve Martin thing, and he goes, well, you're kind of like me, but you're not me.
Yeah, right.
And then we get an obligatory Lorne Michaels cameo. He climbs through like a window of his office. And Lorne had a really great line where he just looks at him and deadpans and goes, are you finished yet?
Yeah, right.
And then he goes, oh, look, it's me watching me. And so, you know, it's this whole musical number. And he eventually makes his way kind of back to the stage. But yeah, it's a whole big musical number. It was pretty amusing.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I like too is like after he is like kind of dancing around backstage, that goes back on like into the main studio, and he gets stopped by security guards. Like, sir, you can't come in here, and he just punches him right in the face, and they just keep going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's a lot of little fun, just asides, like little absurd bits as he's running around, which, you know, I always appreciate a good monologue that kind of goes backstage or weaves its way kind of through the studio. It's always kind of fun. Conan O'Brien did a really fun one when he hosted. Maybe we'll talk about it someday.
Oh, yeah. Conan O'Brien's one of my favorite.
It's one of my favorite episodes. We'll have to cover it at some point because it's one of my favorite episodes too. So we'll get there eventually. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It sort of becomes a Steve Martin monologue, and he eventually makes it back to the stage, and they sort of take a bow, and we move on with the show. Yeah.
So the first sketch that I had, because obviously I'm always find a way to get the underground version that has everything included. It's not edited for Peacock or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the first one that I had was the Ronald Reagan kind of doing secret meetings in the White House.
Yeah, so oddly enough, this one is not on the Peacock version, but it is on YouTube. So I was able to watch it on SNL's YouTube page. And also, I vividly remember the sketch when I pulled it up on YouTube because the whole thing is not on the Phil Hartman DVD, but there's like a chunk of it on the Phil Hartman DVD. So I remembered at least a chunk of this sketch, very, very vividly. But yeah, I was able to see the whole thing on YouTube. Yeah, this is a great way to kick off the show. I thought this sketch was phenomenal.
Yeah, same. So like basically, like he has all these people coming in to do the normal kind of like the more like presidential things that you see on camera, and then whenever they walk out, he always has these like secret meetings going on. Because I guess that like might have been something that Ronald Reagan was like kind of known for, like maybe having some kind of secret things going on behind the scenes that he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of the sketch is that whenever people would see Ronald Reagan doing like the press conferences or the stuff in the White House and the Oval Office, he always seemed like he was kind of aloof or wasn't fully into everything, or everybody was kind of parading him around and telling him what to do and things like that. The idea of the sketch is that it's all a charade, like it's all just a sham, like that's just the face he puts on in front of the public. And then as soon as the cameras are off, he's like completely running the show. He's running military, he's running the government. He's like smart as a whip. He's like right on top of everything. He as soon as the cameras are off, he whips all of his advisors into the room and he's like, all right, back to work. Here we go. This is what we're gonna do. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, because first of all, Phil Hartman's impression and his makeup is tremendous in this sketch.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and but yeah, it's really, really good stuff. And so the idea of the sketch is he'll be like in the middle of some rant and rave where he pulls down a map and he's going, all right, we're going to put our troops here and this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to strategically move them over here and over there. And then like some press secretary will come in and go, Mr. Reagan, the Girl Scout who sold the most cookies in America is here to see you.
Yeah, right.
And so Reagan will have to kind of stop what he's doing. He's like, all right, everybody get out of here. Get out of here. And they go into like a secret room, in the next room. And then he puts on his face of just like, well.
Yeah, he's like, well, you did so good, we could use you up on Capitol Hill or whatever.
Yeah, there's a great line before that where right as they're about to bring him in, he goes, "This is the part of the job I hate."
Yeah, right.
Got a pretty big laugh. Doing all these little dumb, like it's basically just like a quick 30-second photo op where he's like, "All right, little Susie, you're a really great salesman. All right, off you go, bye bye." And then as soon as she leaves, it's like, "All right, get back in here, get back to work."
Yeah, he's like, all right, you get back in there. He's like, Casey, you'll spearhead our new operation to fund the Contras with the C-5As, with the tow missiles and the grenade launchers. We'll leave for South Africa 0800 hours. I want you supervising the whole thing, and then like just kind of barking orders and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, he's the idea is he's just smart. He's like completely on fire. As soon as his people get in there, he's like getting on the phone. He knows perfect Arabic. He's speaking Arabic to people on the other end of the line. He's just he's constantly picking up the phone, like talking to this person, talking to this person. And the idea is like you see like a spinning clock. He's doing it for like 12 hours straight while everybody else is sleeping. He's still just going full on like he's on cocaine or something. And no, it's really, really funny stuff. Like it works at a fast clip. I almost couldn't catch everything he was like saying and doing because it works really, really fast. But it's a really, really fun sketch.
There's one little line where he's like pointing at the map that's like hidden behind a painting or something. And he's like, the red countries are the countries that we sell arms to. Now the green countries are the countries that we wash our money. Then he gets cut off with a girl coming in to sell Girl Scout.
Yeah.
The Girl Scout.
And then there's a really random Dana Carvey, Jimmy Stewart that bit near the end, which I thought was kind of awkward. Yeah, I thought it was kind of awkward though. Like it was just he comes in, he's like, "Sir, your old friend Jimmy Stewart's here to see you." And he even with him, like his old buddy, he still puts on the well. It's good to see you, Jimmy. Maybe we'll take a little picture together. All right, off you go, Jimmy. And he's like, "Whoa, wait, what are you pushing me off? We've known each other for 50 years." So
Dana Carvey does a spot on Jimmy Stewart impression, but it's kind of like a little kind of just out of left field kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like all of a sudden we're just getting like a celebrity impression, when I didn't think we really needed one. Like I thought the Girl Scout thing was enough of to get the idea of like where it was going, and the phone calls and stuff. I thought it was just a little bit of overkill, but it didn't totally kill the sketch. I thought it was just a tad too much.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's about all I had for that one, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for the next one, I had Chevy Chase trying to find the channel changer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the couch cushion thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was great because he's just like you can't find the channel changer, and he's looking everywhere because he wants to watch some kind of football game or something. But he's like, Daddy likes to flip around the commercials. It's one of Daddy's things. So let's help Daddy find the channel changer. Now, where the hell is it? And he's just like, like frantically just like going everywhere, and they starts digging in the couch cushion and just pulling up random stuff out of the couch cushion.
Yeah, the idea is that just he's sitting there just digging his hand down in this cushion. The idea is he keeps pulling out more and more absurd things as he keeps going. So it starts out small with like him pulling out a big wad full of change, and he pulls out like a big handful of pencils and pens, and he throws it on the coffee table, and then he finds like black old rotten bananas, and he throws those on the thing, and
like, come on, son,
and he gets
those down or something. Like throw
and then he pulls something out, and he's like fluffy, and it's like a skeleton of their old house cat.
Like or like he pulls out an entire Matisse painting. He's like, honey, look, I found our long lost Matisse painting. We thought it was stolen or whatever. No,
everything he's pulling out is just getting bigger and bigger and more absurd. He pulls out Paul Williams. He literally pulls out of a person, like the actual guy, and then he just like says a line, and then he just like walks out the door, and then he pulls out Victoria Jackson in a maid outfit and goes, hey, honey, it's our maid. I found our maid. She's like, how did I get down there? What year is it? That sort of thing. Like she's just lost forever in the couch.
He's like, well, I found the channel changer. And he starts telling her to like change channels or something. Like,
he's like, go up there and change the channel. Yeah, that's the punchline. He's like, she's the channel changer. I must say, I kind of got Victoria Jackson looked pretty good in a maid outfit. I have to be honest.
Yeah, I wasn't complaining.
No, not too much. Yeah, it's pretty much just it's a one joke little sketch of it, just him pulling out more and more absurd stuff. But I thought it was pretty funny for what it was.
Yeah, one of the lines that I like is that he like pulls something out and he's like, "What's this? Oh, it's an old 8-track cartridge of Paul Williams' greatest hits." And then you have the wife Nora Dunn. She's like, "Hey, whatever happened to Paul Williams?" He's like, "Well, here he is actually." And then
he's right here.
The couch cushion. So they must have had some kind of hole going down to something below or something where people.
And maybe it was like some like poltergeist dimension or something, like a wormhole down in the couch.
Yeah, right. Sure. But yeah, so that's about all I had for that one, and then then we had a performance from Randy Newman, and the three of them came out in their Three Amigos costumes. So they do the little Three Amigos salute where they're like yeah, like, but yeah, you got to see the Three Amigos. It's like an all-time classic. Like it's
I will watch it again. I meant to go watch it for the show because the Three Amigos were hosting. I've got it right over there. Like I need to just watch it, but I just didn't get around to it. I'll get around to it.
You're like Christian Harloff with The Thing. Like he said, The Thing.
Yes. I don't think the Three Amigos is as essential viewing as The Thing, but okay. Right. I've actually seen The Thing many times.
Yep, same. Well, actually, I just watched The Thing actually probably about 6 months ago for my other show, Blind Spot. So it was the first time that I saw it, and like I was blown away.
Okay.
Like so, we were going through the pros and cons. I couldn't even come up with a single con for that movie. Is like a near perfect movie.
No, I got to see it in a theater about 6 months ago when I went down to Universal Studios. The theater at Universal Studios they were showing because it's kind of in the middle of the COVID stuff, so like you have to go in there and wear a mask and everything. But like they were because they were so starved for like movies, they were just showing all these classic movies, and they were doing like a midnight show of The Thing. So I got to see it at midnight with like a crowd. It was really awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
so was the next thing you know what's odd is that I've got the actual order of everything from like a website. I was able to write down like everything in order, kind of like you do, with doing it in the order of the shows. But like the Peacock with both these episodes had everything in a very strange order. It wasn't in like chronological order the way the shows ran by. Yeah, it was in a very strange sequence. But yeah, the next is I believe it's the Eggshell Family, right?
But. Mm-hmm. I do want to comment about Randy Newman's performance, he just looks really odd when he performed to me. He almost looks like he's mentally challenged or something up there, just kind of banging.
No, he like. So I looked up. I looked up what song he was doing, and I went and watched like a YouTube version of him doing it live somewhere else, and he stares like straight ahead and he just sings the song straight ahead. He doesn't look anywhere. He doesn't look at anybody. He just sings the song. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of his. Like I know the most famous thing really he's done is the Toy Story stuff. You got a friend in me, that sort of thing. But these two songs that he did on the show that I looked up on YouTube, like they're bad songs. Like I think they're
not even good songs.
Bad. They're not very good. So
the second one I'll get into a little later, but it was actually kind of like really bad. Like the lyrics. If you actually listen to the lyrics, they're just like. Mm-hmm. Make no sense, and they're almost kind of offensive, almost kind of thing, and it's just like, and like I think it's like part of it is the way that he sings. He's like here comes the lady. Yeah, so he sings like that. And then he also has the big like Coke bottle lenses that like magnify his eyes really big, and he's just he's just a goofy kind of
which he wore. He still wears like I think he's still alive, or he might have died a few years ago. I can't remember, but I know he was still wearing those glasses like to this day. So he's one of those guys that just like never changed his look ever. He's looked exactly the same for 40 years.
Right. Yeah. But so the next one we had was the Eggshell Family. I thought it was a pretty funny one. Just like it's his family. Their last name's actually Eggshell, and like everything that they say and do, they're like tiptoeing around like eggshells, trying. They're just worried that they're gonna offend somebody, or everything they're like not sure about it. They're gonna be like it's really super overly careful and stuff.
Here's where we're going to disagree because I thought the sketch was the worst of the night. I thought this was horrendous. Yeah, dude, I thought this was like an okay premise for a thing of like people just being completely hesitant to do anything in their lives. But to me, if you think about it, like how would they get anything done ever?
They wouldn't. Ever.
They would not get any. How would they like walk out the door to go to work? How would they turn off a light? Like how would they go to sleep if they're afraid to go to sleep? It's just again, I'm not trying to put like real life logic into it because it's SNL, it's silly, but I just thought that it was a good premise. I just thought it was kind of badly executed. Like I thought just the writing wasn't that great because it just kind of dragged for me. Like every time they would get to a premise of like, oh, the phone's ringing, should I pick it up? Should I pick it up? Should I pick it? Like they would say the same thing like 30 times before they did. I was like, okay, just pick up the phone already, so we can move on to the next premise. I was so done with the sketch after like 2 minutes, man, and it kept going and going and going, and I was like, oh my god, like this is one I skipped on my second viewing for sure. I was just kind of done with it.
I think that like part of it was like purposely trying to kind of like annoy people. So like when you're watching, you're like, all right, just do it, come on. So like you get frustrated. Like I think it's like purposely kind of like. Because like it starts out where you have Kevin Nealon, and then Martin Short sitting at a table, and then you have Jan Hooks playing the mom, and then Kevin Nealon's just like, he was like, I have a question. Well, maybe Scott should ask the question, or perhaps if you're okay with it, or if the both of you. I mean, I don't really know if I should ask this. I don't know if I should do that. So it just kind of goes on like that. Those like type of things. And honestly, the funniest part to me was just when Steve Martin comes down the stairs and he just has like this like huge smile on his face like the whole entire time, kind of like a dumbfounded smile. He doesn't even know where to sit. He's like, well, should I sit here? Should I sit over here? Do you want to sit here? Or I mean, what do you want to do? And like he just like has this like kind of like dumb grin on his face like the whole time. But
well, one of the jokes that they're trying to get to is that it's a really stupid thing where they're trying to ask if one of them can wash their dad's car.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, well, can we wash his car was like the question they're trying to get to. But to me, it was just like, I was having like anxiety watching the sketch. I was like, can you just say it already? Can you just get to it?
Yeah, right.
It was like watching that Adam Sandler movie, Uncut Gems, where I was just having like an anxiety attack the entire movie.
The whole time.
Yeah. It's just like, can you just, I don't know. To me, it didn't click with me. I was just kind of ready for it to be over. I mean, if you enjoyed it, I support, like I fully, if you enjoyed it, that's awesome. I'm glad you got more enjoyment out of it than I did. I was ready for the sketch to be over, like almost after it started.
Well, I enjoyed it, but definitely wasn't my favorite sketch by any means. But One of the other funny things is at the end, you have Don Pardo. He comes on. He's like, "Join us next week for the Eggshell Family episode 7. A letter arrives," and you're like, "Oh,
right? Oh boy." but then my logic, as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Don't they get mail every day? So would this be an everyday occurrence?" I don't know.
Right.
To me, maybe I thought about it way too hard. I don't know. I was just thinking about all the stuff they wouldn't do because they're so scared. But
yeah.
I just thought the premise was funnier than the execution. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next one that I had was Steve Martin doing Christmas wishes. Like if I had one wish. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, but it's funny on the Peacock version. It's like at the very end of the show instead of like near the beginning of the show. It's very, very strange. Again, it's like way out of order when you watch the Peacock version. So yeah,
I think I must have watched this episode like at some point because a lot of it seems kind of familiar to me. And I remember like I must have watched it online years ago because I kind of remember that sketch being at the very end too. But then on this version that I watched, it's like right in the middle.
Maybe, and what's funny is I have a lot of these vague memories when I see some of these things of, like I said, when Comedy Central used to air some of these, back in like the late 90s. And so maybe like on the Comedy Central version, it was near the end of the show too, for whatever reason. Right. And this version is just like near kind of the middle of the show. It's not at the end of the show. So because I thought at first when I was watching it, I was like, or when I was just going through the show and I got to like Weekend Update, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to see the Steve Martin thing. I better try to look it up. And then all of a sudden it pops up at like the very end of the show. I'm like, oh wait, I did see it. That's weird.
I think maybe like it's either in the Best of Steve Martin or the Best of SNL Christmas, one of those two. Like I'm pretty sure that
I think it's the Christmas one. I don't think it's on the Steve Martin one because if it was on the Steve Martin one, I would have seen it before because I see some of these on the Best of DVDs. But I mean, I have like vague memories of what this was. But then I saw, it's pretty good. It's basically just Steve Martin. He's like sitting in a Christmas chair kind of a thing, just talking about all the wishes he has for Christmas.
Yeah, like he's like, if I had one wish this holiday season, it would be for all the children of the world to join hands and sing in the spirit of harmony and peace. If I had two wishes, the first would be for all the children of the world to join hands and sing in the spirit of harmony and peace, and the second would be for $30 million a month to be given to me tax-free in Swiss bank account. He just goes on with
No, the idea is that it gets more and more ridiculous. He starts wishing for like power over everybody in the universe, over everything, control of the universe, and then he's wishing for like revenge on all of his enemies, and then he wishes for a consistent 31-day orgasm. But he keeps coming back to like the kids thing, and eventually gets to the point where and the kids, and that crap about the kids, that's fine too. And it's just getting more and more like personal of just him being selfish and everything.
Yeah, like when he's like talking about the 31-day orgasm. He's like, brought on by Rosanna Arquette and the model Paulina somebody. Oh, what's her name? Oh, of course, my wife would come too. She'd be behind me 100% on this. I guarantee you.
Okay. So it's just the typical like Steve Martin just being like self-centered and uptight and just kind of monologuing for a little while. But it's in that Steve Martin delivery where he's just totally full of himself and pretty funny. But it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, it's only about 3 minutes, but it's just him just sitting there. But it's really funny.
And at the end of it too, you have to like reorder everything. So he's like, where he's like, okay. Well, first the sex thing, because I mean, you never know when the world's gonna just end, and then,
right?
That'll be it. And then the money. Wait, no, we go with the power second, then the money, and then the kids. Oh wait, geez, I forgot about the revenge against all my enemies. Okay, I need revenge against all my enemies. They should die like pigs in hell. That would be the fourth thing, and the fifth thing would be for all the children of the world to join hands and sing.
Right. And then that's pretty much it. But it's all about Martin's delivery in this sketch, but I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah. But so the next one that I had was Weekend Update was the next thing.
So we've got Weekend Update with Dennis Miller and Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I like how they open Weekend Update with the theme to the Odd Couples, because it's kind of like
right.
Yeah. So so it's
it's him. Yeah, I mean, they got Chevy back at the desk, right? And a lot of people think Chevy's like the best Weekend Update host or whatever, maybe just because they have nostalgic memories of it. But boy, was this like really, really awkward and kind of bad.
Yeah, it was awkward
to me. It was really, really awkward. Like I thought Chevy was kind of asleep at the wheel for this one. I mean, maybe it was just me. Did you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, like I kind of almost got the feeling like he kind of had like an attitude like I'm too good for this, like I'm above this or something kind of thing.
Or he's just like why am I not doing this by myself? Like as the host, like why is Dennis Miller still sitting here next to me? Like why do I have to share, the spotlight with him doing Weekend Update? And it's like, well, yeah, you have to. He's the current Weekend Update host.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell that like Dennis Miller was like trying to have some witty banter, kind of back and forth. He kind of makes a reference to like how things are like really awkward. He's like, all right, this is the kind of witty banter we're gonna have, and they're not really saying much. They're just kind of giving each other kind of some awkward looks and like.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. Like back and forth, there was like a lot of awkward pauses. A lot of the jokes didn't hit, which didn't help. Like the crowd was totally dead for this for whatever reason, and also they kept doing this recurring bit throughout the thing that just it didn't work the first time, and then they had to go back to it like 5 more times because it's in the script. But like it was really, really bad.
Yeah, they kept doing that like presidential approval rating thing where they're like, all right, it's now dropped to 66%. Oh no, like 5 seconds later.
Well, no, it was the Weekend Update. It was the Weekend Update approval poll as they were doing Weekend Update. And it was the Weekend Update poll is going down and eventually gets down to like -4%, -27%. But like 45. To me, it was going down, but like it was kind of ironic because the whole sketch was like dying too. Like slow painful death in like real time. And even Dennis Miller, you can kind of see it on his face. And again, he had kind of those sidelines where he was sort of talking about like you could tell he just knew this bit was dying and he just kind of threw his hands up and was just sort of laughing about it, about how it was kind of bad. But yeah, like none of the jokes really hit. Like I thought this was probably the worst Weekend Update I've seen so far, to be honest.
Yeah, and like it's kind of sad how like one of the funniest things I thought was like Dennis Miller clearing his throat, and then you see like Chevy Chase do some kind of reaction to it, just like, okay, what was that, or something, kind of like that's the funniest thing. That's sad. It
was very like uncomfortably awkward. Like a couple of minutes in, like I just wanted them to like get it over with and just move on because it had a weird energy to it, man. I don't even know how to describe it. Like if you're watching this, like, and you don't watch along with this, I would almost recommend you go and watch this just to see how painfully awkward this Weekend Update was.
Yeah, you even had John Lovitz come on as the pathological liar, but like, I mean, even that couldn't really save it. He just came in, and he was lying about how he's the new White House spokesman. Yeah, like that's it. And then he just goes on and like talks about like Iran Contra stuff and like
yeah, he was just going on. It was like he was trying to do the whole thing of like explaining about the weapons thing where he says like, well, they weren't really weapons, you see, they were a gift. Yeah, they were like a birthday gift for the Iranian president. But like even the crowd was just kind of like, bro, you can't save this. Like this is dead in the water. And even the crowd wasn't even, and the crowd's usually into it. That character, like that character is one of the more popular things on the show. And it's like even he just couldn't save it. So I felt bad for Lovitz because he was really trying his hardest, but it was just dead in the water, man. That's all I can say.
And for me too, like I thought that was even sad because the next sketch I thought it was the worst sketch of the whole entire episode was the Pat Stevens show. Like so
I didn't know what this was. Apparently, Pat Stevens was like a character they did in the previous season. I don't remember at all, and it's a recurring character. Like she's a recurring bit. It's this like Nora Dunn being like a talk show host, and the whole thing is she's like just this. She's all about like girl talk or like just getting all of her information from like women's magazines and things like that. Is what I could surmise from it. I mean, am I right in that? I didn't really understand the premise of the sketch. Really, I was trying to like follow it, but it was really weird.
Yeah, I didn't really get anything out of it. I didn't even really write anything down. I just kind of got that like Nora Dunn was like, yeah, like you said, kind of like just talking to, like she got all her stuff from like some kind of women's magazine. Like I would agree there, but then you have Jan Hooks kind of as this kind of like almost Asian a character that like was trying to talk about some serious reporting, but then she just kept coming in with like girl talk or whatever it was, you know.
Yeah, she kept wanting to, the joke is that she keeps wanting to do like girl talk or talk about relationships and stuff, and she's trying to talk about like the Iran Contra stuff or whatever, or policy, government policy and things like that. There was like one line I remember that was kind of funny, is that she had talked about in the beginning, the guest, about how her husband was like assassinated or something like that, and then Nora Dunn and Pat Stevens completely being oblivious to this halfway through the interview goes, so how are you and your husband doing? And she kind of looks at her like really painfully, like, he's dead.
He's dead. He was assassinated. He's like, oh, so are you getting out there? Are you dating or something?
Yeah. I thought that was like the one funny part. Yeah. Like the crowd seemed to like this more than I did, but maybe they remembered the Pat Stevens. I didn't know this was a recurrent character, so I just thought there was some character out of the blue until I did some research on it afterwards. So maybe I just didn't get the joke of it or whatever. But I thought this was it was just kind of bad.
And for me, for some reason, I just don't get like Nora Dunn as a comedian. Like I don't even like really find her funny almost ever. I don't think she's really a very good comedian. She'd be better as like a more serious, like dramatic actor, I feel like, but not really like
well, here's the thing. She shines the best when she's doing like really serious deadpan kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of doing kind of over the top stuff, because if you remember like one of the previous episodes, one of the previous episodes, she was doing the what's her name? The folk singer, like that game show of like make what's her name laugh.
Oh, yeah, like Joan Baez.
Joan Baez. Remember she was being like really deadpan and like really serious. Like she's really good at that.
Yeah,
like
she's
being
good at
just
that.
like being like the straight person basically. And even on the Phil Donahue sketch we talked about like a few episodes ago, just being the straight laced like doctor or whatever. She's really good at that. But yeah, as far as just trying to do this like silly comedy, sort of like on a Dana Carvey or Phil Hartman kind of a level, it's just it's very awkward and weird.
Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. But
no. So next was what the British Customs, right? The Halcyon Rourke.
Yeah. So for me, like I was surprised to see Eric Idle on there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Dude, this was like one of the weirdest pop-ups ever. To me, here's the thing. You've got Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin hosting, right? Which should be like a big enough deal on its own. And then randomly, in the middle of this show, you have a sketch starring Dana Carvey and Eric Idle, of all people, from Monty Python. And it's like, but like sandwiched in the middle of this show, which was very, very strange. And it's like, but all it wanted me to do is be like, okay, when's Eric Idle hosting? I would rather see like him host SNL, and like do like and then have him host SNL and have like Monty Python people pop up throughout the show. Like that would be a lot of fun. And it's like, but instead he gets forgotten about, because even at the end of the show, not to skip ahead, but like when they're doing the goodbyes, he's just kind of like standing in the background. They don't even acknowledge that, like, oh, thanks Eric Idle. They don't even say that. It's he's just like thrown in there for no reason. Like, I don't know if he was just in town and they're like, hey, we'll write a sketch for you. Like, it was just very, very strange, like the way it popped up.
Yeah, like it was kind of strange. But like for me, Eric Idle's always been my favorite from Monty Python though. Like like he's just hilarious. But so the sketch was pretty funny, I thought, but you're right, like it just kind of awkward placement kind of things.
Yeah, it was just awkward placement because, like, it was, don't get me wrong, like, it was amusing. I thought it was pretty entertaining because it's Eric Idle and Dana Carvey, and Dana Carvey's doing his, like, really over-the-top British accent, almost like when he does the guy from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yeah,
like all the rich people, I don't know. He's kind of doing that accent.
Yep.
And Eric Idle is, like, standing with him, and the joke is that they're these, like, customs agents checking everybody's bags and stuff like that and asking if they're declaring anything, and they're just but they're, like, finding regular things, and if like something that they're looking at has like a pocket, they're just like, well, what's this? Hello. And all it is just like regular stuff. Like somebody, I forget who's the opening of it. It might have been Kevin Nealon or something, has just like a box of chocolates, but it's one of those like double layer ones where you pull the plastic off the middle and there's more underneath it, and he's just going, hello, what's down here? Huh? What's going on here? And
what's this, a false bottom here?
And they think everybody's trying to sneak stuff in when it's just regular bags and stuff. And the idea is that they're detaining like literally everybody just for having, their luggage essentially. And,
right.
So yeah, it's pretty good. They go through a couple people. I think Martin Short just has like a jacket on, and he tries to play it off like it's not his jacket, and they're just looking through the pockets of the jacket, and they're just like, oh, the thing is that it's a reversible jacket, so they turn it inside out into like another color.
Like,
He's like,
hello,
hello, what have we here? Huh? Are you trying to hide another jacket inside of your jacket?
Yeah, when Martin Short walks up to, like, he just like, well, like, so do you have any bags? Like, nope, I don't have anything.
Nope,
So,
got
so
nothing
like, I'll see
here.
you later.
Nothing on
He's
me.
like, hold on. Like, mind if we look in the jacket? Mind if we take a quick look here? Hello.
Hello. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that one of the punchlines is that they get like an announcement saying their detention center is completely full because they've detained every single person. They've got no more room for the day. So like they still got all these people in the line. They've detained like 100 people, and it's getting stupid. But yeah, they just all right, all the rest of you can go. You're dismissed. Bye, go. But yeah, it was pretty amusing. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like jokes. It was kind of just the same thing. But like I thought Eric Idle's delivery alone in the sketch like made it pretty entertaining. I thought.
Yeah, like you have John Lovitz. He comes in with like a chess set, and they open it up, and he's like, and then Dana Carvey's like, some lovely little stowaways we have here, some lovely little carvings, and then like these Yanks. Like, why do they even try it? They're just saying like a bunch of like super British stuff, kind of like they're the place that like they have to find something with every person that comes through.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But
yeah, like I said, it was good. It's good stuff. It was just really weird seeing Eric Idle in a random sketch and a random cameo like halfway through the show. It was just very, very, very strange.
And when I first saw them, like saw Eric Idle, I was like, wait a minute, like who is that? Is that Eric Idle? What? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I guess he's in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the next one that I had was the Ed Grimley one.
So I tried my damnedest to find the Devil and Ed Grimley online, and I could not find it because it's not on the Peacock version, and it's not on YouTube. I wanted to see it because I read kind of a description and sort of an outline of it, and I could not find this anywhere on the internet. I scoured trying to find it. All I could find was screenshots.
Oh wow, yeah, because like the whole thing that makes it's so great is just Martin Short's performance. Like I think that if anyone else would have done it, like it probably wouldn't have really been that funny. But he just really hams it up and just goes over the top. Where he's like, well, so like the whole thing is that it's Christmas time, so you see him come home to his apartment. And he lives in like this really old kind of rundown apartment. He doesn't really have very much money, but at the same time, he's just so happy and just full of life. He's like, oh, I can't believe it. This is just too much. He's like, the Christmas season, give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Just the thought of it is making me go completely mental, I must say. He always has like I must say.
Yeah, like, I must say, yeah. Him pacing around the apartment, and he's like obsessed with Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
And No, I mean, I'm definitely familiar with the character. I've seen some Ed Grimley stuff. I just haven't seen this particular one because it's him talking to John Lovitz's devil character, right? Like trying to make a deal with the devil.
So the devil eventually it comes in, but there's a funny thing that like happens before that, where he has this picture of Pat Sajak on the wall, and he notices he's like, oh, give me a break. Why is Pat Sajak's picture all crooked? Gee, that makes me angry because this is so sad. It just seems that Pat is just a very decent guy whose picture just shouldn't be crooked, I must say. So he's like freaking out over it. And so he goes to fix it, but it keeps going back crooked over and over again. Mm-hmm. So like his delivery, like just over and over, he's just like, "Oh my dear! Oh for heaven's sakes, what is happening here?" And he's just like, like having all these little lines over and over, just kind of freaking out. And then the very last one that you see, so you can so you can tell that like somebody behind the scenes is manipulating the picture because he like walks away and then it goes crooked, and he looks at it and he points and it just goes straight on its own without anybody touching it. Just
yeah. It's the spirit of Pat Sajak straightening his own picture.
Yeah, right. but like he has a lot of dialogue in this though, so it's like hard to really catch everything. But like like he has a thing where he like burns his Christmas cookies, and then he's like, "What's that I'm smelling?" He's like, "It must be my Christmas cakes that I'm making to give everyone this year. Hope they turned out well." because it's the only gifts they can afford. And then he pulls them out and he's like, see that? They're all burnt. And then he starts freaking out. He's like, oh, give me a break. Burn to a crisp. Isn't that sad? And he's like, and why do I keep forgetting to wear oven mitts just like randomly in the middle? And then he just goes, and then like throws them up in the air.
Dude, I totally imagine like Martin Short getting ready for these Ed Grimley sketches, just like shotgunning like 8 shots of espresso and like 5 sugar cookies right before he does these sketches, because he's just constantly like running all over the place like a chicken with his head cut off, and just like waving his arms all over the place. I mean, I know the character very well, but yeah, like I can only imagine like he's got to get like psyched up or amped up to like play this thing.
Yeah, right.
Like
because like
it's 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, like after he like throws the tray of cookies, he's just like ow, 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 and he's just running all over the place, back and forth. And he's like doing this little dance thing kind of thing. And then like out of nowhere, then the devil shows up after he's playing the triangle, and so like they're playing the triangle of this Christmas music, and like he only so like it'll play like Jingle Bells, and then he only like hit it once at the very end of the whole entire song, but the whole time he's just like dancing, just doing this weird kind of dance with his hips all over the place. Like it's just pretty good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like,
Well, he did the Ed Grimley dance in the Drake video parody, the Hotline Bling parody,
a
few years ago. And when he shows up in that video and he's doing the Ed Grimley like swivel dance.
Yeah.
Right.
But so when the devil shows up, like he just kind of just like plays it off as like just like completely naive. He's just like, can you just excuse me for 1 second, please? I'm sorry, I didn't see you come into my home. With all due respect, do I know you? And he's like, you may know me by many names. Beelzebub? No, sorry, I don't. Lucifer? No. Mephistopheles? Oh, wait, no. He's like, all right then. The devil. He's like the devil, you say? Give me a break. And then so essentially the devil offers him a $50 gift card to any department store that he chooses in exchange for his immortal soul. So like he's so bored, they're just like so excited to have a gift card. He's just like he's like, oh, like, give me a break. What do I do? I've never been in that kind of money, and the idea of spending all the money on gifts is just the best. I could buy a new pencil case for cousin Lamar. I could possibly buy those sleeping blinders Uncle Basil has been at marring. Oh, it would just be the best. Like he does this real cheesy kind of like demeanor about it, but in the end he finally just sees that the devil's up to like some kind of trick, and so he turns him down. But at the end they have a little like triangle duet. He's like, well, before I go, would you like to have a little duet on the triangle, because I also played the triangle. So that they like do the little triangle to the Jingle Bells, and they're both doing the Ed Grimley dance and stuff. It's pretty funny, but yeah.
Yeah, I wish I'd seen it. But yeah, because I'm a fan of the Ed Grimley character. I mean, again, yeah, it's just all about Martin Short's like energy and performance of the character. If anybody else was doing it, I don't think it would work. And it definitely works whenever he does it, for sure.
Yeah, right. Like I was thinking that like if anyone else did this, like it'd probably be like super cheesy, it wouldn't be funny, but like having him do it is like just hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. No, good stuff.
But so that's that. And then the next one that I had was the church lady at the potluck. Did you get?
Yeah, I think this is the final sketch of the night, right before the goodbyes. Is the church lady potluck at the church?
Yeah, yep.
Well, other than the other musical performance, which I didn't see. Yeah, for sure.
So there's another musical performance. I'm just you're looking to see if there's anything else. Nope. So yeah, there's just that, and then one more musical performance. Yeah.
So how about this? We're 7 episodes into the season, right? We've had 6 appearances from the church lady. 6.
Yeah, right. That's 6
out of 7 episodes. 6 church lady appearances. Like, I need to get your opinion on this. Do you think they're overkilling this character too fast?
Just a little bit, but luckily she's like really funny. But I mean,
no, it's funny and it's a hit. It's just, to me, it's like, it's typical, doing it like 6 episodes in a row, or like almost like 6 or 7 episodes in a row, is like can we take a break from it for like at least a week before you do it again? Right. It just seems like a little bit of overkill. That's all. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the character is funny, and this sketch is still pretty funny. But like, I think they need to like spread it out a little bit. Let's just space them out just a tad. That's all.
Yeah, because if you were to kind of break it down, basically it's just church lady saying all the usual church lady things, like the same way that she always does. On like every other episode, and at the end you have Chevy Chase come in as like the like reverend guy or whatever at the end.
Yeah, so he was he comes in as Minister Bob. And,
and
everybody just loves Minister Bob and Minister, and they're basically just complimenting each other. Go, church ladies going, "Oh, the devil just hates you, Minister Bob. You're just so good." And he goes, "Well, Satan hates you too, church lady." And I think it's interesting they call her church lady. They don't call her Enid. I think that's kind of funny. They actually call her church lady at this like luncheon, because this is outside of the church chat like talk show. It's just her at like her church. And they call her church lady. I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, and then when Chevy Chase comes out, like he's like kind of playing the same kind of stick as the church lady, kind of, but it's also just being kind of typical Chevy Chase, kind of like he just does like he doesn't really do much of a character. He's just kind of like just delivering his lines, just kind of being there. It was kind of strange. Like he was just. Like he didn't really put much effort into the character, because I thought he was going to be like a gimmick, like he was going to do the same kind of shtick as her, just from like a male point of view. But he just comes in, he like delivers a few lines, and then like church lady takes back over and gets into it with the drunk lady, and that's like most.
Yeah, because like when he comes out, he's like talking to the drunk lady Barb, and he's like, "I have a joke for you." He's like, "Knock knock, who's there?"
He's like, "Who's there?"
He's like, "Barb's large liver." Barb's large liver who? Well, I don't know, Barb, but you're gonna have to answer to a higher power. And he's like, who could that be? Church lady? Do you have any ideas who that's gonna be? I don't know.
Satan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, they trade things back and forth. I forgot to mention earlier in the sketch, Victoria Jackson played her little church girl character that she pops up all the time, and then church lady's always accusing her of fornicating with her boyfriend, in her off time, and just constantly. And but this is the debut of the church lady shuffle dance. It's the first time she does her little little hip dance. Yeah. So this is the first time we get a taste of that with some lady in the background, just like playing like a keyboard, and she's doing her little church lady shuffle. Yeah, right.
And when she always talks to Victoria Jackson, she always finds some way to make it like she's doing some kind of sexual act. She's like, "Sorry, church lady, I can't help it. I got tied up." He's like, "Well, isn't that special? Apparently, some of us need little accoutrements to help us perform our dirty little sex acts." And he's like, "No, church lady, I had to feed my boyfriend's mother Jello because her arthritis was so bad." And he's like, "Well, there's a pretty little picture. Use." He's like, "You and your clingy little dress and your red sexual lips. Peter's poor mother crying out, 'Feed me, Jenny, feed me.' Not now, Granny. I'm too busy fornicating."
Fornicating. Yeah. It's all about fornicating. So it's good stuff. Yeah.
He's like, "Not much blood makes it up to our teeny little brain when our teeny little naughty parts are engorged."
I mean, it's always like the same jokes, just kind of. I think at this point they're just finding different ways to sort of word everything. They're going through they're going through their thesauruses, trying to find all the synonyms for all the different words, for like sexual acts and things like that. But yeah, it was good stuff for the church lady. I mean, it's a lot of the same stuff, and I think they're overkilling the character just a little bit, but like it's still pretty funny.
Yeah. But so the last thing was just the final musical performance. But I just wanted to just comment that like the song was one of the weirdest songs that I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. The song about homeless people, black children, and like getting burned or something, and then light bulbs, rats, and like junkies like that are on drugs or something. So they call it "Roll with the Punches." And but like so he'll like mention all these things, but it's almost like he's just making a list of things. Like he just has like a little shopping list.
What's funny about that?
Black children, light bulbs, and rats, and junkies. I'm just like, okay, is that even?
Do you ever watch the Nostalgia Critic, Doug Walker's character?
Oh yeah.
So I remember some bit he did, and I forget what movie. He might have been talking about Toy Story or something like that. But he talked about Randy Newman's like way of writing and his style, and that it's almost like he's just looking around the room or just saying things, like just writing down whatever he sees in the room or writing down whatever stream of consciousness he has. And the way he writes songs, it's just nonsensical. Like he'll be sitting in the living room going, "I'm sitting in a chair, turning on the light, doing this, doing that, watching TV." That's like the way he writes his songs. It's just really silly and stupid.
How Randy Newman's even like a popular musical artist, because it's just something that like my 5-year-old nephew could just like come up with, just sitting there and like just making a random song.
I mean, even his most famous pop song outside of like the Toy Story like music stuff is that song "I Love L.A." But that whole song is just like, "I love L.A. It's really pretty. I love L.A." It's just a really stupid song, but people like it because it's about L.A. Okay.
And then have you ever heard the song about short people too?
Oh no!
Like short people got no reason to live.
Oh, okay. You know where I know that from? They play that in the Little Rascals movie from '94.
Yeah. It's like that's
when they're sitting on each other's shoulders trying to get the bank loan from Mel Brooks. They're playing that song as they're going into the bank. Okay, yeah. I mean, his songs are just strange. Like he's one of like the weirder music personalities of all time.
Yeah, there is one song by him that I actually do really like. Was from Toy Story 3, the song "We Belong Together." I thought that was,
well, again, his Toy Story stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, you got a friend
wrote for Toy Story, but like everything else is kind of weird and kind of strange.
Yeah, but that's it for that episode. So,
well, and I should mention just a minor note. Don Pardo says at the end that next week is Valerie Bertinelli, but obviously we know next week was Steve Guttenberg. They had to reschedule Valerie Bertinelli for whatever reason, but she does host, I think, a couple episodes from now. So whatever it was, they had to reschedule it, which was, I just found that odd.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we go into old Guttenberg, man. Old Steve Guttenberg.
Yes, we got Steve Guttenberg, musical guest, The Pretenders, which for me, like, I'd forgotten about a lot of Pretenders songs. Like, I kind of like The Pretenders. I thought they weren't too bad. Like, I kind of.
So you want to know something funny? So I didn't hate them. I looked up what 2 songs they did here, right? And I started playing the first song, the title of it, and I recognized the song because I have to hear it every single day at work.
Oh, you do?
And so because literally at my grocery store they have this like Muzak playlist that plays the same like 8 hours of music over and over again. So every one of these songs I've heard like 9,000 times, and so I started listening to the song and I go, oh no, it's one of the ones I have to hear at work. I can't listen to this, and I had to turn it off like immediately because I listened to it enough. But whatever it was, like I knew it immediately. I was like, oh boy, no, I gotta skip this. Yeah, just a side note.
I think that song. Forget what their first song was actually called, but I think I heard it.
It's called like "Don't Get Me Wrong."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I remember hearing it from like one of the Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh yeah.
It was like the second one or something. I think it's in there when they do some kind of music montage or something. So it's part of that.
Something like that.
But I do want to just preface for anyone who might be watching this episode is that so I was able to watch both of these episodes twice all the way through, but I did kind of have to rush my viewing because of my work schedule. I had to rush through my second viewing of the second episode, so I have quite a few notes for the first couple of sketches, but then like I just like wrote down what I could because I was kind of running out of time. I kind of had to rush it through last minute, so I apologize for that. But I'm gonna try the best I can to.
It's all good. We'll try to. I'll try to balance out what I have, and we'll. If we don't have much for this for whatever sketch, we'll just say what we remember out and we'll move on. So it's all good. Yeah, right. We'll just keep moving. But so we had the cold open, which was it was basically an Iran-Contra hearing, but from the Iranian perspective. So it opens on Iran doing like almost like congressional like hearings. But the idea of the sketch is you have like John Lovitz and Phil Hartman and Kevin Nealon and all these people, but they're all doing like Brooklyn accents or like American accents.
Yeah, right.
But they're dressed up like Iranians. So it's just, it like literally Phil Hartman's doing like his Ted Kennedy impression just while wearing, like a beard and like a a hijab. Like it's very strange stuff, but it's pretty funny overall. I thought it was a pretty good open.
Well, I think it's pretty funny, but I almost think that it's probably a sketch that I probably wouldn't fly today. I feel like maybe like they
it probably wouldn't. I mean, again, but it's the product of the times. It's like, this is 1986, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? It's
right.
I mean, I still thought it was funny. Like, it basically opens and like they're sitting down and they're like, all right, we called to this meeting, and then they go to swear in. John Lovitz is supposed to be like the witness or whatever that they're swearing in. Yeah. And I thought this was the first time I laughed. Is A. Whitney Brown is like the sergeant at arms, and he goes, all right, put your right hand up, put your left hand on your beard. Yeah. now swear.
They're like making up like a bunch of random, like some Hebrew or whatever it is. I don't know.
Noises, and John Lovitz is repeating it behind him. I thought it was just the delivery of it kind of like made me laugh. It was just really out of nowhere. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So you have John Lovitz playing some kind of character, which I think that like his character might have been a real character, like Ross Bonnet-Johnny, but I don't know.
No, I think his character is supposed to be a takeoff of like when Oliver North was testifying to Congress, and then again, Phil Hartman is basically just doing his Ted Kennedy impression, just talking to him, but they're just all in these like Iranian get-ups. So it's basically just like supposed to be a takeoff of like some C-SPAN thing, but they're literally talking the same as they would in America. It's just the joke is that they're all dressed up.
Yeah, right. And all the crazy names that they make up, they just like start making up all these like crazy Middle Eastern sounding names. But like the chair recognizes Mullah from Khalistan, and His Holiness Hassan Khafifar, or just like make up just like like names. So they have Phil Hartman playing Khafifar, and like he just like it goes on this like huge rant, just like naming off all these different names over and over again, just like it's just like he's like so good, just kind of coming up with them on the spot. So one of the things that he says was like no, I'm just the son of a simple camel driver. Maybe it's me, but I'm having a hard time understanding how, if Muhammad Ali Najif knew, Hastafi Hardy Azaquad knew, then how did Hassan Hussein Amidad Habibidi not know? So my question, Mr. Rajputanian, did you at any time tell Beza Hussein Ahmadibija what you told Muhammad Ali Ahmadinejad and Mustafa
Muhammad Ali?
I mean, come on.
Just like
right. Throwing out random names, just like crazy.
Yeah. And then John Lovitz again is just he's just speaking like John Lovitz. He's not even trying to like put on an accent. He's just he's like what I'm trying to tell you is this is the way we did it. We had the weapons and we traded them off. He's just talking like himself.
Yeah, he's like, what I didn't tell you is that although we lost 3 hostages, we actually took 5 more hostages. So in the end, we actually gained hostages. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. But then they start doing like crazy. Like, so at the end, he like makes some kind of statement where he's like, but like something that like apparently all the people in the room, they don't like, so they all pull out guns and start going like
yeah, again, it's a sketch that probably wouldn't fly today because some of them are, especially A. Whitney Brown had some really heavy brown makeup on for sure.
Yeah, right.
but yeah, kind of again, it is what it is, But I thought it was still amusing. I just thought the joke of them still speaking with like American accents was pretty funny. They weren't even trying to like put on accents. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, right. And so just a little insight. So when I was in high school, I was part of the video tech and like broadcasting department. So we made all these crazy videos for our morning announcements, and we'd make them more than just like morning announcements. We make them like a little like Friday videos, what we would call it. So we'd have a little extended like a spoof video. We did a lot of those. We did some music videos. We did one that was a spoof of like what a McDonald's commercial would be for soldiers that were fighting overseas. They're like seeing Like they get bored when they're overseas. So like, what do soldiers do when they're bored? Well, they watch TV. So just like scrolling through just random channels and like what would be on over in like Iraq and stuff. And so like one of them is like this like McDonald's commercial where it's like, or it's like, if you come into McDonald's, we'll supersize your falafel for free, and we'll also give you a free cup of sand. And we're like, we fail to see you smile. And you just have this guy just like dumping sand out of a cup and like he's trying to drink it or something. And like for that, we actually kind of gotten in like some hot water for it. Like especially like showing it at a school. They're like, you can't show that kind of stuff. That could be like offensive.
Yeah.
And we're like, we didn't really think about it, but like we thought that it was funny, but yeah, maybe we shouldn't air that. So yeah,
that Adam Sandler movie, You Don't Mess with Zohan, kind of does like a commercial parody like that with John Turturro's character, the Phantom. He's doing a commercial for his like fast food restaurant, and it says like, in every kids meal comes with like a free grenade, and then at the very end it says like, you know, really quick, there's an overhead guy that goes, and death to America, bye.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I could see it be something like that. But yeah, so that kind of plays into our first thing after the monologue, which I didn't see, the McSushi thing. We'll get into that in a second. But apparently, I guess the monologue, Steve Guttenberg tries to prove he's cool by playing War on the tuba.
Yeah, right. So he's like playing on like one of those big, like I think they call it like a sousaphone, the one that like wraps around you from the marching band.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he plays that. And like he just has the whole thing where he's like talking about his high school reunion that he went to, and he's like, if you weren't hip in high school, you're not hip at the reunion or something. So like, so he like talked about how like all the cheerleaders became fat or whatever, but they still wouldn't want to dance with them, and like he was still considered a loser, even though he's a big famous actor now, you know. So
yeah, right.
So like it was. All right, I didn't really find it too funny. I just thought it was okay, but that's kind of my take.
Yeah, the first thing we had was the commercial, the McSushi thing, right? The McDonald's sushi.
Oh yeah, so that was the first thing that I had, and like this is another one that I thought maybe wouldn't air like in these times now too. Maybe I don't know, but
no, I mean I didn't think it was like offensive or anything. I think it's literally just a parody of like, what if McDonald's made sushi, which is an absurd concept in itself, you know, just like these, you know, fast food workers slicing up very fine like fish and, you know, wrapping it around the rice. But the funniest part to me was it's this like high energy commercial where like everybody in the restaurant's like dancing around, you know, like while they're eating their sushi and, you know, dancing through the aisles and stuff like that. But they're serving the sushi in like little cheap styrofoam containers, like you would at a fast food restaurant. You know, where you know, usually you would serve it on like a very fine plate or something like that, like a long rectangular plate. But they're just serving this up in like styrofoam. I just thought that was like one of the funnier bits of the sketch.
Yeah, and then they're like singing some kind of like jingle in the background. They're like da 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 da, but make kind of poppy sounding.
Well, and it kind of the button on the thing is that they pan to like a Japanese guy just eating a hamburger, like a McDonald's hamburger, and he just kind of goes,
yeah, just like okay,
whatever. But yeah, it's a quick little thing. Yeah, it was kind of short, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah. But so the next one I had was the Derek Stevens musician with Dana Carvey.
So this is strange. I did not know that the Chop and Broccoli character was a recurring character until I saw the sketch.
I didn't know either. But yeah,
who knew? But yeah, it's essentially it's a follow up on the Dana Carvey's Chop and Broccoli character that we saw at the beginning of the season, and it's a follow up of him. Phil Hartman's still playing like a record executive, but they're coming into this meeting and they want to see Derek and they brought in like a consultant, and it's Kevin Nealon. And the premise of the sketch is they need him to get his sales up because his sales are kind of sagging about 5 or 6 albums in. Yeah, and they've got some strategies to bump his sales.
Yeah, so like one of the things is like they think that it would bump his sales up if he was dead, and so they're like, and he's like dead, like, well, what do you mean? And then they bring out this like whole like graph. So like Kevin Dillon's like, Derek, this is the bar graph of your record sales since 1975. We've estimated that if you were to die right now, your record sales would with sort of 34% in the first year alone. He's like, oh yeah, but then like Florman's like, hear us out. All right, I'm showing the career comparison chart. So then he's like comparing him to like all these other artists that like died, but the record sales skyrocketed. So he's like, this is what I'm really proud of, Derek. And take a look at these two artists. We have Jim Morrison and Peter Frampton. He's like, right now, when Jim Morrison died in 1971, his record sales took a dramatic rise and have held steady ever since. Now, conversely, Peter Frampton, by not dying, his record suffered a tremendous loss right here. And he's like,
I thought Kevin Nealon's delivery just alone kind of made this, because I think it wouldn't have been as funny without Kevin Nealon the way he delivers it, because he's just he's just pointing out these silly things where he's just like, and Peter Frampton, by not dying, and just the way he kind of emphasizes the not dying, just
it
was just and but yeah, like, and the idea is like, Derek is like, so what, you want me to like fake my own death and go hang out in Bora Bora for a little while, you know, you know, go on a vacation? And he's like, no. And like the funny thing is, like, they actually want him to die. Like, just Phil Hartman's like, we kind of just want you to really die.
You're like, don't you think that if you didn't really die, that'd be a little dishonest to the fans? I mean, come on.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. He's like, and the best part here is that the buddy here worked with some huge artists. I mean, he's worked with the likes of Jimi Hendrix, Elvis, and like these guys just keep selling records like crazy. And it's like people that have already passed away or whatever.
Oh yeah. No, and I thought this sketch was pretty funny, but I didn't really appreciate the fact they tried to just reprise Choppin' Broccoli again at the end of the sketch, because Derek Stevens, he's trying to like save, you know, the meeting, and he's like, no, but I got a new hit. It'll jump my sales up. And he just does like the same melody as the Choppin' Broccoli thing, but it's about like the Forgotten Lady or something, whatever it's called. Something like that.
I think he wrote it to like his little niece or something. But like one of the things, though, like at the end, I was just laughing so hard because he starts going over the top and just kind of like just really it up. And like for me, like it's almost like you say, like when you that sketch in one of the previous episodes where we had John Lovitz and he kept forgetting his line over and over again, how you were just laughing.
Yeah.
Like just the way that like he just like played it just like so over the top just had me like dying. So like she's just like he's like, she's my little lady, my tiny girl. Sometimes I can barely see her. She's my little woman, my teeny little woman, my tiny little girl, my tiny little wiener. She's a teeny little winner, a teeny little winner. Yeah, just like going like crazy, just really hammering it up. Like I was just like, and if you look at the look on his face too, like he just looks like he's just like, I don't know, like he's just like mentally challenged, like when he's doing it or something. I don't know. He just has like the most like bizarre looks on his face, and the way that he just says it. And just delivers it, just like got me. Like I had to like rewatch the very end of the song. I was like, oh, that is so good. Yeah, just the way that he did it just really like got me. I don't know. I was laughing pretty hard.
I like the I like the first half of the sketch a little more than the second half, just because it made me just want to go watch the Choppin' Broccoli, like the original one, rather than watch this. But I still thought it was a pretty good sketch. Again, I just didn't know they brought this character back. When it popped back up, I was like, oh, that's strange. I didn't know that. I thought that was just a one-off thing, you know?
Yeah, right. But I guess they liked it enough to try something like sort of different but similar.
Sort of different, kind of not.
Yeah, right. But so the next one that I had was with Steve Guttenberg with John Lovitz as the blind guy, and they're in the bedroom.
Yeah, and this one kind of it has like a weird abrupt opening. It's just like it literally opens, and they're just like, "Well, I'm so glad I met you," you know, John or whatever his name is, you know, and like immediately opens. It opens with both of them like literally sitting on the edge of the bed, like in their boxer shorts, in these like you know 80s style like boxer shorts. And the idea of the sketch is that Gutenberg's pretending to be a woman, like seducing John Lovitz, but John Lovitz is blind and doesn't know he's a guy, obviously. And it's like, but Gutenberg is gay and he wants to get with Lovitz. And then once obviously Lovitz finds out he's a guy, he like freaks out. But Gutenberg keeps trying to like worm his way back in to get with him.
Yeah, right. Like he keeps on like pretending to be the the police officer after he finally calls the police on him, and then like he like he's finding ways to sneak back into the bed. I think the funniest part though, for me, it's just John Lovett's reaction to it all. He's like, God, oh, get away from me. Oh,
God, I'm just so I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna be sick. Yeah, and he's just like, are you really gone? You better not be here.
Right. Yeah.
You better be gone this time. All right, I'm going to bed now. And he eventually, every time he keeps crawling into bed, but Gutenberg keeps sneaking his way back into the bed, and he keeps feeling, and he's just like, Gutenberg just keeps going like, can we just make this work? I mean, I'm just like, I'm really, really attracted to you. I mean, does it really, really matter that I'm a guy? I mean, I just really, really like you.
He's like, sorry, it's just that I'm very attracted to you. And he's like, I know. Get out of here. Oh God, I'm getting sick. Oh, I'm so sick. What a nightmare. Like he just like really like like just disgusted, like he's been traumatized or something.
Yeah, so this goes on for a couple of minutes, but the button is that it abruptly turns into like a PSA, and Steve Guttenberg starts addressing the camera, and he goes, "Hello, I'm actor Steve Guttenberg." And if this ever happened in real life, which I really don't think it ever has, but I mean, on the off chance that it does, we don't condone this kind of behavior. Please be honest with your love partner or whatever, And John Lovitz like pulls off his sunglasses and we're in the sketch, and he's just kind of like nodding along, and like it's this weird like PSA. And if you want to know like an interesting thing I read about this sketch is that this sketch, they got a lot of like backlash from this sketch from like the gay community and things like that. They got like weird letters and stuff. And so NBC did not rerun this sketch when they would rerun the episode. But oddly enough, it's on the Peacock version now. So you can widely watch it. So it wasn't in syndication, but okay. But yeah, I can see how this would be kind of controversial because it's sort of portraying like, gay people in sort of a negative light, just being kind of almost kind of rapey, like it's to be brutally honest, you know what I mean? Like he's really trying to get with John Lovitz, but I thought Gutenberg had a pretty good performance in it though. He was selling it pretty hard. I liked his miming acting and him doing the different voices to try to fool him and things like that. It was pretty good.
Yeah, like, and I feel like maybe like Peacock versus like Saturday Night Live itself kind of has like a different like take on what they want to air and what they don't want to air, because I feel like Peacock's trying to air some things, and Saturday Night Live's trying to air other things and not some things, just kind of like a weird thing.
And again, we've talked about like the weird, like what they include and what they don't include, and it's just like it's very strange. Like, I mean, with me on the previous episode, I would have kept in the Devil and Ed Grimley thing and cut like the eggshell or the Pat Stevens sketch. You know what I mean? Like I would have kept that because I felt like that would have been a stronger sketch to keep if you have to keep it within like a time frame or whatever. Like cut one of the weaker ones and like keep that really, really good one, But I'm not making decisions. So it is. So that was that one. And then I guess the Pretenders performed, which again I didn't see, but again it's the song I have to hear at work, so I didn't want to see that anyways.
Yeah, and then also they had the sideshow stars with Penn from Penn and Teller. So you didn't have that one, did you?
No, I didn't have the parade of sideshow stars. Yeah, I didn't see that sketch. I read the idea and I saw some screenshots about it. Was basically just a parade of some of the impressions that some of them do, right? Like for the most part.
Yeah, like it's like basically like none of them are really like very big stars. Most of the characters they're playing, honestly, I hadn't even heard of before. So
I know it was didn't Dana Carvey reprise his Casey Kasem? He did a few episodes ago, right? Something like that. And then I know Phil Hartman did his Charlton Heston, which he would go on to do a couple of times on the show. So like that's pretty good. And then I think I read Jan Hooks reprised her Sally Kellerman that she did on the Church Lady sketch a few episodes back too.
Oh, that's what it's from. Because I was like Sally Kellerman, I have no idea.
She played Sally Kellerman when on that Church Chat sketch, like a few sketches back. She did. Okay. I remember we talked about she was like the weird like MASH actress that's just kind of like a hippie almost, But yeah, I mean, again, it's an impression product of its time. It's not going to hold up if you don't know who this particular actress was from this little period of time. Yeah.
Well, because like I feel like Dana Carvey will do these impressions, and I usually always recognize who he's doing. But then some of these other people, like do some kind of a celebrity impression. Like I have no idea who that celebrity even is. So like it must just be a product of its time, probably. Because I'm just I don't know who half these people are. Like so they had John Lovitz as the Rubber Man. He was doing Don Adams as the Rubber Man. I don't know who Don Adams is, but
Don Adams is what's his name from he's Barney from Andy Griffith.
Oh, that who? Well, no, you're thinking of Don Knotts.
Oh, Don Knotts. No. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Don Adams. No. Don Adams is Get Smart, and he was the voice of Inspector Gadget.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So, like,
did you ever see? I'm sorry, I confused Don Adams. Don Adams, my bad. Don Adams, was Get Smart. Maxwell Smart, and he was the voice of the original Inspector Gadget. He did the voice of that. Yeah. So that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then he had Nora Dunn as the bearded lady, but like I couldn't even catch who she was even trying to play because they said it so fast. It sounded like they said Tyne Daly or something, like Tine Daly. But
Tyne Daly, it rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you exactly who Tyne Daly was. Yeah, no, it's a person, but I recognize the name, but I couldn't tell you offhand. Yeah.
I don't actually. I try and Google it real quick to see. Tyne Daly. Let's see.
Tyne Daly or Tyena Daly, something like that.
Oh yeah, so it's Tyne. She was. I'm not even sure. Like, there's a picture of her here, but like I don't. Oh, it says she's a Tony Award winning actress for like theater and stuff. So
okay, she's like a Broadway person of her time that a lot of people out of the '80s probably wouldn't recognize.
Oh yeah, so it says in 1989 she started in the Broadway revival of Gypsy. That's the only thing I never knew.
Hey, the only name I recognize, the only name I recognize on her Wikipedia is her brother is Tim Daly, who did the voice of Superman and a lot of the Superman animated series back in the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
I recognize Tim Daly, oddly enough, as a voice actor, but yeah, I don't know who she is.
Yeah, but then you had a special reading by Charleston Heston that was Phil Hartman. So like he just recites some line from a book, but it wasn't even really funny. Like it was just some random kind of almost Shakespearean. But the funniest part is that he recites the line. There's this like chicken, and he just bites the head off a chicken and throws it for some reason. Like I'm like, okay, that's just
it's a random freak show thing, by biting the head off the chicken, right?
But like Dana Carvey was probably the funniest one, because when it shows him, it's like Casey Kasem as Baboon Boy. He's like, what famous Hollywood personality was born with webbed fingers, a stomach outside of his body, and rooster-like feet? The answer coming up in a minute. And then they like go through all these other people, and then it cuts back to him, and he's like, and the answer to our question, Tyrone Powers. It's like, okay. So I'm just kind of like,
sure,
it's really random. But yeah, but like overall though, I didn't really think it was really all that funny. You just had Penn from Penn and Teller just introducing all of them kind of in the way that I would assume that he does in his magic act kind of thing, like
just kind of being like the like a ringleader kind of character, which I could see him doing, almost like a circus ringleader or something like that. Yeah, I could see him playing something like that, because he's got the big presence, of that sort of a thing.
Yeah, but that's all I really got out of that one though. But
no.
But for the next one, I had the one where it was Steve Guttenberg and Victoria Jackson were they were a dating couple, and then they had Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman playing the out of touch parents. Did you get that one?
Okay, I got it, but I thought that was after Weekend Update, but I could be wrong.
Might have been after Weekend Update, because honestly, I didn't write anything for Weekend Update.
No, dude, Weekend Update was like, I mean, the only things I would say is like all they did was like Dennis Miller had a bunch of not great jokes, and then they did a character that I guess from last season that Nora Dunn plays called Babette, which is like a sex kitten or something like that, and she was explaining the Iran Contra stuff, in like a sexy phone way, and it was really, really bad. Like, I don't know who this character was, but apparently she's a recurring character. But yeah, whatever. That's all I had. So, anyways, yeah, we'll just skip Weekend Update for now. We'll skip Weekend Update, and we'll go to I think the sketch is called like Movie Talk, and it's about it's like Steven Guttenberg and Victoria Jackson kind of talking to Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks are playing like her parents, and it's one of these things where it's a kind of a slice of life sketch about parents that can't remember names of movies or names of actors or things like that, and you're always trying to figure out what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminds me of like kind of, so this is kind of like a little side note, but like I don't know like how often do you watch SEN Live or like Collider Live, but like it always reminds me of a character that like Christian Harloff would always talk about, where like he's like saying that they're playing Pictionary, and they're like, all right, so like what this is Jim from church. You know Jim from church. Like everybody knows Jim from church. Come on. Like you know him. Come on. You can get it. Come on. It's like, who the hell is that? Nobody knows who that is. Come on. Like this old lady's trying to explain this. Nobody has a clue she's even talking about. Just is that kind of like a similar thing to that? Like they'll just say things and like they're just so out of touch with like everything, and like they can't remember things except for like the one thing that like applies to them. They're like stuck on like one certain movie that they just watch over and over again or something like that.
Yeah.
So
the idea of the sketch is that Steve Guttenberg is playing himself, actor Steve Guttenberg, and is like dating Victoria Jackson, and they meet and they're talking, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do in the movies there, Steve?" And he's like, "I'm an actor," and they're like, "Is there anything we've seen you in?" He's like, "I don't know, Cocoon or Police Academy or Diner, things like that," and they're just like. No, don't think we've seen that one. Were you in what's that movie we saw the other day? That movie with the guy. The whole thing is just like
with that guy.
The handsome guy. The really handsome guy. The thing. Oh God, that was what. Oh God, he's like, were you in that one? Yeah. And everything is like, were you in that? Were you involved with that one? And Steve's like, no.
He's like, no.
I wasn't involved in that. Like the idea is that the only movies they've ever seen are like. The Sting and like Tootsie are like the only movies they've ever seen.
Yeah, right.
Because everything comes back to the Sting with like Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and just like, everything's the Sting.
Yeah, they're like, you remember the guy, like he was a baseball player and had Paul Newman in it, you know what the baseball player, and he's like, yeah, The Natural. He's like, no, not the Natural. What was it? The baseball movie, The Natural. He's like, oh, The Natural. That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
Dude, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had like this with like 60-year-old people in my life, like of them trying to explain what saw they movie. Like, again, this sketch wasn't like super laugh out loud funny, but it was really relatable. If you're like a movie expert, kind of like I am, trying to figure out what people are talking about. People who like don't know. You know what this sketch reminded me of? It reminded me of a commercial parody that SNL did like a few years back. It was called like the movie translator or something like that. And it's like when your parents don't know the name of the celebrity and they say the name that they know them by, and it translates into what they actually are. So like in the sketch, I think the mom was like, his name was Joe Geronimo, and the translator goes, Jake Gyllenhaal. And he goes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what the sketch was like a prototype of. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, and the whole thing ends with like they finally just leave, and like they're like, oh, you want to watch a flick there? And you see their thing of VHS tapes, and it's literally just like The Sound of Music, Tootsie, and The Sting, and they're like, let's watch The Sting again.
What's The Sting? Yeah, right.
Yeah. So again, it's not a super laugh out loud funny sketch, but like when you see this, you'll be like, I've had that conversation with somebody. Like I've done this exact thing with somebody. Yeah, it's almost like a Seinfeld-y kind of thing,
Yeah. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to just point out is that so my usual co-host for Tier Ranker Fights, so like we're super best friends, so I feel comfortable saying this about him because like he would totally just laugh it off. We laugh about it all the time, but he's like so bad at like recognizing actors from movies. Like he always name an actor, but he's always wrong. He's always like completely wrong. He'll say some actor, and then he'll be like, oh yeah. Like, do you see that trailer for the new movie coming out? there's Tom Cruise in it. I'm like, Tom Cruise? You mean Keanu Reeves? Like, he's like, that's not.
Oh yeah,
Tom
Keanu
Cruise.
Reeves.
Like,
Yeah.
like he'll do the exact same thing. Like he'll be like, oh yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah, but like he does that like so many times. Like we always laugh about
Well,
it. So.
just tell Chris it's okay because all white people look alike, so it's all right.
Yeah, right. Of course.
But yeah, it was pretty good stuff. So next was the Penn Teller most expensive card trick.
Yeah, so I didn't even get what the card trick even was. Like they're just trying to map it out on the
The
computer.
idea is that it's just they're
idea.
just doing like this technology thing, and the whole thing is when he fans the cards in front of the camera, like the camera and the computer like picks out the card that they picked out of the deck, and it's just showing off like some kind of technology, and it just sort of turns it into a quote magic trick, even though it's not really like a magic trick. And then he just quickly throws it up on the board. Yeah, it's not even it's not even really a magic trick. It's just like showing off like a computer thing. So yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Penn and Teller again. I always enjoy like their like what Penn does. He's always great in his delivery and stuff. And apparently this was the last time they would make an appearance on SNL. So this is the last time we're going to see Penn and Teller just doing like a bit on the show. But yeah, it's not really worth talking about. It's just like Penn and Teller doing like a little quick bit on the street, and then they kind of move on. There's not a whole lot to say about it.
Yeah,
really.
They said that they spent $56,000 on it. I don't know if that's
$60,000. I don't know if it's true or not. And it seemed like they tried to play it off like it was live on the street, but it was also kind of pre-taped. Like I couldn't really tell which was which.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, there's not much to say. It was an okay little entertaining Penn and Teller bit, but it's pretty quick and they move on.
Yeah, like I like Penn and Teller for what they are, but like I didn't really. We just didn't really understand that particular magic trick. I was like, okay.
No. And like I told you, I watched an episode from a previous season where they actually did a magic trick on stage where Teller was literally submerged in like a water box, like a Houdini type thing. And they were doing like a card trick while he was submerged, in like a straitjacket. Yeah. And it was a lot more entertaining because it was like an actual magic trick. Yeah. It was actually like a magic trick illusion type of thing, but like comedic, like funny stuff. Where he's the ending of that one is he's panicking because Teller can't unlock the thing until Penn guesses the right card that they picked out, and he keeps having the wrong one. He's going through. He's just like, "All right, Jack of Hearts, Queen of Spades." Da, 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 da. And he's trying to get him out of the box before he drowns. So it becomes pretty funny. But yeah, you should go back and see that one. It's pretty funny. It's the episode I told you about where the Peacock version is 18 minutes long because there's literally 0 sketches on the show.
Oh wow, crazy!
So yeah. So yeah, next was the back page, which I didn't have on the Peacock thing, which I read about, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't really find it very funny either. Like, so you're not really missing out on a whole lot. Like, it just seems like another one of those like kind of 1920s sketch where you have John Lovitz and Phil Hartman going back and forth. See, like you're gonna be a star, you're gonna be this, you're gonna make a movie, we're gonna have Go Picture, or like whatever they're like saying.
It seems like every episode they try to work in something to where they can do that kind of dialect just because they can do it really well. So they're trying to like write backwards from just making up scenarios where they can do that kind of old timey talk. Yeah.
But like I never find them really laugh out loud hilarious. I kind of like usually find it like mildly like humorous, but not really that funny.
Yeah.
But the whole thing of the sketch. So you have a few other people though. You have Dana Carvey in there, Kevin Nealon, even Steve Guttenberg, and like the whole premise is that they're just gonna like really over the top ridiculous headlines, and it's just them just like typing away on old typewriters, just kind of like. And then they want to come up with these crazy headlines, and so like someone will like come in. So like you have Jan Hooks. She comes in, she like plays this whole character and like tells kind of like a more serious story. But then at the end of it, they just come up with like all right, pregnant Pekingese pops in Poughkeepsie. All right, we got our headline. All right, see you later. And then
Zing.
Yeah. And then somebody else comes in and like gives some kind of story. They're like Persian people poop in public. All right, zing. And then
it's just them trying to come up with stuff that like either rhymes or all uses the same one letter, I guess, all the way through. Like that sort of thing. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And
then they have one that's just kind of out of left field. They're like Bumble Apple crop expected. Zing. Okay. I'm just gonna, like so.
Yeah.
So it's like mildly amusing, but it's nothing really that like super funny.
Gotcha.
Like, so yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's really all it was.
And, and then the last two sketches of the thing are really interesting because they're both just quick little like 90-second, almost like mini sketches. Because we had the casting director and then the Alcoholics Anonymous thing. And so, yeah, they're very strange, like quick sketches. Unless, well, I mean, I know you probably had a musical performance in there or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out one thing about the musical performance. So, like at the beginning of it, so you actually have one of the confused parents come out from the
right.
And it's the mom. And she's like, "Hey, Steve, I remember the name of the comedy group." It's like, "Oh yeah," it's like, "Yeah, it was Cheech and Chong," and then like that's all she really said, and then they just like cut to the musical.
Sure.
Performance. So yeah, like it just kind of they brought her out. I didn't really think it was really necessary, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I had the Kevin Nealon casting director. Did you have that one? Where
yeah. Again, it's like a really quick, strange, like 90-second, like almost like a mini sketch because it's very, very short, and it's like
right.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is like he's a casting director and Victoria Jackson comes in, and the whole thing is he's on the phone like the entire time. He doesn't get off the phone. And so he's looking at her headshot and he's like doing the thing where he's like twirl it around, and she's kind of spinning around, and basically the whole punchline of the sketch or what it gets to is that everything he does with his fingers, just gesturing while he's just talking on the phone. She's like rolling around on the floor and she's like jumping all over the place and spinning around, and she's just following all his directions, even though he's giving a guy on the phone directions. He's like, all right, now you're going to get to a rotating doorway, and then you're going to go down the hall, way down there, and then you're going to go up the escalator, and he keeps doing that, and just Victoria Jackson's just falling all over the place and like spinning around, and eventually she backs up so far she falls out the window. And it's just, again, it's only like 90 seconds. It's really, really short. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One of the things that I kind of noticed about that sketch is I think it's the same set that they ended up using later on. They have a sketch where they have David Spade, where like people would like come in and like it'd be someone like super, super famous. So like
he would do the and you are
and you are. So like they had one where they had Roseanne Barr hosting it. So like she comes in, she's like, yeah, like I'm Roseanne, like I am the star of the highest rated comedy on TV right now. He's like, and you are, and then she'd be like, yeah, I don't really own a TV. I don't watch TV, so you would be.
Like the one I remember of that one was somebody was playing Jesus. And so Jesus walks in and he goes, oh, Phil Hartman's playing Jesus. He goes, yes, I'm Jesus. And you are the Son of God, the Savior, Lord and Savior, died for mankind, and not ringing a bell. And he goes, I'm come to announce my return, and I'm going to take all my followers to heaven. You're going to have to take a number. Or like, you're going to have to make an appointment, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, that was, I was thinking about this sketch the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Yeah, it's really short. It just ends with her falling out the window, and then the sketch kind of ends like right after that. It's just like, that's like the punchline of the sketch, and then move on.
Yeah.
It was kind of strange, but it was sort of amusing. It was just really abrupt.
Especially seeing her fall out the window. That's the part that made me laugh.
She took a good little fall out the window. Like she went backwards, like head over heels. Like
she did.
It's a pretty impressive little fall. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the only other thing that I had was the Phil Hartman playing the like dad that goes overboard during Christmas time. He like comes on with like a second Christmas tree, and he's giving him presents before Christmas time. I didn't really get it right a lot because that was where I was kind of running out of time to really write much about it. But
and the whole thing is just Phil Hartman's just the whole thing is he's overcompensating for Christmas, and again, it's another like 90-second sketch. It's very, very quick, but he's going like, let's open our presents now. Oh, we can get more presents. Let's all go to Hawaii for Christmas. Hawaii, yay! Hawaii. And eventually it cuts to Nora Dunn in the front, and the whole thing is a PSA about if you have a spouse that's suffering from alcohol abuse, call Alcoholics Anonymous, and the whole thing is an alcoholic father that's overcompensating for his kids because he's an alcoholic. So I mean, the whole thing is just leading up to that. But it was another. I found it odd that we had two sketches on the show that both had like a PSA ending. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty much it. They say their goodbyes, and that's the Guttenberg episode. So
I had a couple actually other things that were on there. Maybe you didn't get to see them. So they had an odd little short film that had Tim Robbins in it. I
read about that, but I didn't get it though. Yeah.
So he was playing a character named Bob Roberts, and eventually the character Bob Roberts went on to be a full length movie, but it was just him just playing like a really weird version of the character, sort of like the beginnings, kind of like I almost kind of equate it to like before a band becomes famous, they have like a demo tape that has some of their really early stuff. That's what it kind of felt like the demo tape for like Tim Robbins doing this Bob Roberts character. But I wanted to kind of point out, because the like sketch is pretty forgettable. Like Bob Roberts is just this guy that's like this no-name guy that wants to run for Congress, and like how he does it is he wins over crowds with just playing all these different folk songs. So he's just playing random folk music on the guitar. But on the Bob Roberts movie, though, so I looked it up. The movie actually has a stacked cast. Like it's a pretty impressive cast list. So I just pulled it up here. So you have Tim Robbins, and you have Giancarlo Esposito, Alan Rickman, Ray Weiss, Brian Doyle Murray. You have David Strathairn, James Spader, Helen Hunt, Peter Gallagher. So like a pretty stacked cast for just like a movie that which is like, I don't know, like where the character really even came from. It just came from like the mind of Tim Robbins.
Yeah, like, so would it be considered an SNL movie?
I don't know, like, because like that might have been the first appearance of the character, but I don't know, like it's hard to really say.
Yeah, because if his first appearance technically was on SNL, wouldn't it be considered an SNL movie? Maybe, kind of.
Maybe, but
I've never heard it mentioned in like when people list like SNL movies like Blues Brothers and Wayne's World and Ladies Man and all that kind of stuff. I never hear the Bob Roberts thing mentioned, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah, and I don't really think that like Lorne Michaels or like any of his production company really had anything to do with the actual movie. So maybe that's why. So, but
weird.
But then also, they had a musical performance from Chrissy Hines and Buster Poindexter, just like coming out and like singing some song. And man, this is one of the most horrendous songs I've ever heard in my entire life.
Nice.
Like they were so bad. Like so, Buster Poindexter was like trying to sing. I'm in a super low key, like almost like a baritone sounding key, and like he could not sing like that. His voice was like horrendous. Like So like I don't know, like if it was a thing to like have like some house performers that they always have perform at the end of like all the episodes or something, that like maybe when like we don't always see it air, and like maybe they perform, or like maybe it's only like a once in a while thing. I'm not sure, but like even the like female performer that on the Chrissy Hines, like she wasn't very good either. Like it was just bad. Like it made me cringe. I was like, ugh. Like no wonder.
Well, maybe Buster Poindexter should just stick to instrumental guitar playing.
Yeah, right. Well, he can sing it when he sings in like a higher key and a higher octave, but like singing bass, it's like he's not good.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
maybe the show would like ran short or something, and they just needed somebody to like do something on the version you saw. Like maybe the show was running like 10 minutes short, and they had to just do an extra musical thing just to like fill in some time or something. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah, because the runtime of the episode I had was 1 hour and 5 minutes, so I don't know. That's about normal, probably.
Because with commercials it'd be like 1 hour and 20, so maybe they did go short or something. I don't know. Maybe they needed to stretch the time out a little bit. Like maybe, I don't know. It was strange.
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, yeah, that's the episode. So yeah. Next week I'm actually gonna bring it up. So the 2 episodes we have next, we have one hosted by William Shatner, and there's also one hosted by Joe Montana and Walter Payton, which is kind of interesting. So
yeah, but I was going to propose to mix up the two episode format a little bit if you're open to it.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
what I was going to propose is that we continue with season 12 for the first half of each episode. So we continue next week with the William Shatner episode, right? Which oddly enough, by the way, I looked ahead. The Peacock version is 19 minutes. It's very, very short.
Oh, wow.
But I saw there's like 4 of the sketches are on YouTube, so I should be able to watch most of the stuff from the episode. So it's very strange. I don't know why. Anyways, what I was going to propose is that for our second episode, we start maybe running sort of themes, maybe based on something happening currently, like in pop culture, or maybe a takeoff of something. So not like a current episode, but maybe for my first idea, just to kind of mix it up and get in some other cast members and some other eras and things like that. So the big thing going on right now, it's March, right? So March Madness is going on, right? Lots of basketball. Yeah. So maybe we find an episode hosted by a basketball star. And what I was going to propose is maybe we, for our second half of the episode, we do season 17, episode 1, so another season premiere in 1991 with host Michael Jordan. If you'd be down for that. Yeah. And then maybe in the future, just to kind of play around with what I'm thinking about, maybe around the time, let's say, Mortal Kombat comes out on HBO Max, maybe the week of, we do one with a martial arts star. So maybe we watch the episode where Jackie Chan hosted back in like 2000, something like that. So, maybe kind of take a theme of something going on in the works and kind of work it into like a classic SNL episode. So that's kind of just my idea, while again, continuing with the current season we're on with the first halves of each episode, but maybe mixing them up with some random episodes here and there just to kind of have some fun.
Yeah, totally. That works for me. Yeah, because actually, that was my exact thinking. Like I was like trying to find some ways to maybe kind of like incorporate some other seasons, so we're not just
and just that and that way
cast over and
over.
So
if we do this Michael Jordan one, we skip ahead a little bit to 1991. So we still have a few of the current cast members. We still have Dana Carvey. We still have Kevin Nealon, a couple of these guys. But we start seeing the Adam Sandlers and the Chris Farleys and the David Spades and Chris Rock and some of these guys. And we get Kevin Nealon's first episode as a Weekend Update host, things like that. So, I mean, it would kind of mix it up a little bit. And again, if we do one like I'm talking about, maybe with like a Jackie Chan later, some of these other people, we get to see some of that 2000 cast. We get to kind of get little previews of see what's going on, and we can kind of talk about what's going on there. So just my idea to maybe kind of do an episode where we keep going with the current season, but then kind of a themed episode as like our second half, just to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like even to kind of like double up on it. So like I think the like NBA playoffs maybe kick off in like May or like June. They got another episode hosted by Charles Barkley too. That could be another one.
Yeah, Charles Barkley, or we could skip ahead when LeBron James hosted back in like 06 or 07. We had other ones where I think Carmelo Anthony hosted one year. There's different ones. There's different ones, throughout history. We could always pick. We could do like a Charles Barkley one from like 1994, something like that. Yeah, we could definitely figure some things out. What's going on? When baseball season around, we could find a baseball star. Football, we could find like the Peyton Manning episode or the Tom Brady episode, things like that. We could kind of incorporate stuff like that. Or, if there's a current movie coming out and it's got a star that hosted, years ago, maybe we could watch one of their early episodes, things like that. So yeah, we'll figure some things out from week to week, and maybe I can kind of try to pick out like a themed episode for each week for a second one.
Yeah, for sure. Like even like they got the like Zack Snyder cut coming out. So like even doing one with it, where they featured like superhero sketches in the show, you could do that too.
Yeah, no, there was that one where they did the Superman funeral with like John Belushi back in like 78. We could maybe find that episode, or we figure out something that's going on currently and kind of tie it in with a classic SNL episode. We can try to maybe work that in.
For sure. Yeah. So I think that's a great way to start though. Just go with the Michael Jordan episode. So
so next week we'll do season 12, the William Shatner hosted episode, and then for our second half we'll do season 17 with Michael Jordan, and we'll kind of mix it up a little bit.
All right, sounds good. And I'm hoping that's the one where the Michael Jordan being on the Bill Schwartzky super fans, because that's like
I think it's the Bill Schwartzky one. I think it has a sketch with him and Stuart Smalley doing the daily affirmation.
That one's
I remember there being a couple of really solid sketches on that one. So I'll look forward to revisiting that one for sure, because that's one I remember them rerunning a lot back in the day on Comedy Central. That one popped up a whole lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'd be pretty fun. Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, that'll do it for the show for this week. So it was a fun episode. I probably if I were to rate it, like, I thought that the first episode was a bit of a stronger one. Like, if I were to rate it overall, like, I'd probably give it about a 9, honestly. Like, I really liked the one hosted by the Three Amigos. So, like, I was pretty high on it. But if I were to rate the Steve Guttenberg one, I was a little lower on there. There's some things that I like, but I'd probably give it about a 5.
So for me, again, like I talked about, I was a little cooler on the Three Amigos episode than you were. I thought there were some highlights, but I thought there's a lot of lowlights too. I give it more like a 6, but that's just me personally. But I did like some of the sketches that were in there. And then I'm about with you on the Gutenberg thing. It's pretty mid-level, like it's right at about a 5. Like there's a couple of good things in there, and then there's some mediocre stuff as well. So to me, like we definitely agree on the Gutenberg episode. We just kind of have a slight difference on the Three Amigos thing. But hey, go watch it for yourself. Go watch it for yourself, and make up your own mind and see who you agree with. And it's all good. It's all good fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I think before bed, I got to go back, just watch the very end of like Dana Carvey singing that song, because it just gets me every time.
Sure. Maybe I'll go back and watch my that Robin Williams sketch that's been making me laugh a lot that we talked about last week with the John Lovitz Master Thespian. That makes me laugh a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah. So that'll do it for this week. So we'll just wrap it up. So Austin, where can the people find you?
Well, I definitely want to do. I know I talk about Bergs and Hell film critiques a lot, and I haven't done a video in a while. But we finally got some movies coming out very soon that I can do videos on. Like for instance, we talked about the Justice League. So I'm gonna watch the Snyder Cut tomorrow, or I guess technically today, since it's 12:52 a.m. where I'm at. It's today. So as soon as I get some sleep, because I want to give it my full attention, because I need a good night of rest before I watch the 4 hours. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm a big Zack Snyder fan, and so I'm gonna watch that and probably do a video review of it and talk about it. And I'll probably do like maybe a non-spoiler one like a lot of people do, and then maybe a spoiler one like a week from now or something like that. And then we've got Godzilla versus Kong next week, so I'll have something else to talk about next week. So I definitely want to do videos on both of those. So check me out. Yeah,
and I've been hearing really good things about the Snyder Cut. Like I've been hearing some early reviews.
Yeah, no, I've been hearing really solid stuff. I'm really looking forward to watching it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, and then next week is my wife's birthday on Saturday. So I asked her what she wanted to do, and she wanted to go see Kong versus Godzilla is what she actually wanted to do. So I'm like, yes, I married the right woman. Perfect.
Well, I want to go find a theater nearby. There should be some theaters showing. I want to go see it in a theater. So I definitely want to go check it out, because that's one of those things where like I think it'd be really cool if I went and saw it in a theater, and then I could literally come home and rewatch it if I wanted to on my HBO Max on my TV. So that's kind of a pretty cool thing. Turn on the subtitles and see anything I missed in the background,
Yep, right. Yep, and then so you can find me all over the Movie Hero Network. So tomorrow night we got a pretty big episode of Tier Ranker Fights going on. So we're going to be ranking best and worst Steven Spielberg movies. So he's going to be on the panel, and then we're going to have a few Schmodown guests. We're going to have JTE, Paul Preston, and Chance Ellison. So that should be a pretty big show. It should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's crazy that like the first time I'm going to get a chance to be on your Tier Ranker Fights, which I think the Spielberg one was kind of my suggestion. It's one I've been really researching and wanting to do. And to be the fact that a couple of days ago, you tell me, oh, I've got these 3 Schmodown people that are going to be on it. It's really, really cool. So, there's a little bit of pressure on me to deliver with all the big guests on here, but I'm going to do my best to be sort of the I'm not going to screw it up, but I did my homework. Hey, I did my homework. I know what I'm talking about. I literally watched 20 out of his 31 movies this past month. So, I'm ready to go. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a good time.
Yeah. So for me, I just watched Jaws for the very first time yesterday, which was an incredible movie. It was awesome. Definitely gonna be up there at the top of the list for me, probably. And then, and I started watching a little bit of Amistad today, but then Paul Preston said in our little group chat that I need to watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So I may even switch over to that and see if I can fit the second half of Amistad in, because I'm actually not working tomorrow. I have to have the day off, so I'll have a little bit of time.
I do too, man. So yeah, that's why I'm watching the Snyder Cut tomorrow, because I'll have a free 4 hours to go watch that. So yeah, because I've pretty much done all the Spielberg research I need to do. I'm all caught up, so I'm ready to go for that. And I'll have to get a nice nap in before we start, because it'll be close to midnight my time when we start that episode. So we'll
right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be another late one for me, but it'll be worth it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of options to watch tomorrow, because we also have the Snyder Cut, and then we have Falcon and Winter Soldier tomorrow too. So it's like it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on, but we definitely live in a blessed time with all this stuff coming out, But
for sure, man.
But you can also find me on a few other shows on the Movie Hero Network. So you can find me. I have a show that's called Blind Spots. We've been teasing for probably like a month, but like we just been like super busy. We still have not gotten around to watching Taxi Driver. We'll to doing a review on it. So that is coming. I promise you that. So hopefully we can get to it this week. So it's just been a super crazy busy time. But and also you can find me over on the Schmodown Friends and Family Facebook page. So if you have anything you ever want to promote, if you have a YouTube channel that you do, or any special project that you're working on, you can definitely promote it there. And then we also talk a lot of Schmodown over there. I'll probably be posting some things about the matches tomorrow. Definitely non-spoiler. They're just going to be like some things that kind of hype it up. What are your thoughts? Who do you think? I think is going to win. Who you got? That kind of thing. So
hey, but again, if you're a Schmodown fan, start watching tier ranker fights, because my man Jordan here is getting a lot of Schmodown people on his shows, and he's blowing up. And pretty much it seems like almost every tier ranker fights in the near future is going to have some kind of Schmodown competitor as a guest. So check it out. Because you already had Video Drew and Adam Witt on your last episode. Yep. So and now you're gonna have, and you're in talks with some other people. We won't say it now, but you've been in talks with some very special guests coming up. So
definitely
we'll save that for another time.
Who know quite a bit about horror movies, maybe, and definitely some people who know a lot about superhero movies. So like, just to kind of give you some ideas of like who it could possibly be, you'll have to wait to find out. But yeah, so we definitely have some fun episodes planned. And it's been interesting because like I never thought that I'd get very good responses from reaching out to some of these Schmodown competitors, but like most of them were actually pretty interested in like just getting on and talking about all these movies. These are the things that they love talking about. So I mean, I think a lot of them actually look forward to opportunities like this because they have fun with it, and it's a way to get their name out there, like all that kind of stuff.
Hey, it's a way to talk about movies without having to answer trivia questions in a very in a very stressful environment. So they're appreciative just to be able to spit movie knowledge without it being worth points for a faction.
Yeah, we're definitely open to having other members of the Schmodown community on tier ranker fights. So if you were, I think you might want to be a guest on the show, just hit me up. You can find me in the Schmodown Friends and Family group, or you can just DM me on Facebook. Those are probably the two best ways. I have a Twitter and an Instagram. I don't really use them that much, though. So I'm definitely all over Facebook. So if you have any interest, just let me know. But anyways, yeah. So for Austin Pez Howell and for Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, this has been live from Movie Hero, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.